This has a mic, so it would actually pick us up.
Oh,
anyway,
sweet. Okay.
so
Cool, cool.
I made sure of that.
All right. Whenever you're ready.
So, all right. Here you go. Is everybody ready?
Yeah.
Let's do this.
All right. Mic's on.
Oh yeah.
Mic's
Perfect,
on. Mic's
okay.
on. All right. 5, 4, 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of 13 Cards Subject to Change. I am here once again with Leroy in the kitchen. Leroy, what's new in the kitchen?
What's new in the kitchen? Let's see here. I got cookies. I got muffins. I have this
Wonderful
lovely
Nature's
elixir
Touch brand.
from Quick Trip, and we got some chicken.
Label out, label out.
I do. Well, I can
I
see
know.
that. Yeah.
We have a camera in here, too.
We
have
have
a small
chicken.
web-
Yeah, we got a camera back here. I'm
Yep.
recording. We're gonna put some up, and we have some hot sauce. And it's because of this
Hey.
gentleman right here.
Ladies and gentlemen, on the show today is Al Sands, local boxer and entrepreneur of the hot sauce world. Al, thank you so much.
Thank you guys. for
And
having me.
Jesse's here as well. Folks, today Jesse's going to eat a little crow, and he's all ready for it. And by the way, my sources have confirmed, Leroy, yes, Sami Zayn is still handcuffed to the barricade of the... Yes, he's still standing there, and he's got a sign. I don't
He's
know what's
still
in it.
protesting.
Yeah, he's still going crazy. But anyway, so
about
today's
it.
a very special show. Al, thank you so much for being here. I know you and I were talking about doing this for a while.
Yeah.
So Al, you're obviously more in the boxing world than the wrestling world, but today we have some wrestling versus boxing type stuff to talk about.
Oh,
So
boy.
a lot of stuff to go there. I think a very good place for us to start with you is the most recent thing that's happened in boxing that I've talked to you about was. What was the last big fight that had Nate Robinson on the undercard?
Oh,
What was the top
Nate
fight?
and Logan Paul, I believe.
Yeah. No, Jake actually.
Jake, it was Jake.
So anyway,
Logan's gonna get Floyd in a couple weeks.
the last big fight on the undercard was Nate Robinson versus Jake Paul. Now, if you don't know, Jake Paul he's a YouTuber. He's turned to boxing. Has he fought Logan before? I feel like Logan and him on one-on-one was like the first.
They did some small like sparring stuff on their channel, but
Anyway, so. Needless to say, the Paul brothers are not exactly the internet's favorite people. So, when Jake knocked out Nate, I think at that point had been an amateur boxer for
probably a month before.
yeah.
the fight.
I mean,
So one training camp.
Yeah.
fair enough. Now, okay. Now, my question to you is: a lot of people have obviously made memes and they've made fun of Nate. I think you're the guy who sort of said, if you're not willing to go in there yourself, you can't really give him too much crap. So, I mean, like. How do you feel about Nate trying to do something different with his athletic career? Since at this point, I don't think he's really NBA quality basketball. I mean, he could probably play in the G League, but I think Nate's a little bit better than most of the G League guys.
You know, I mean, big credit to him for at least stepping in and trying the thing. Many
Mhm.
people talk about it. Everybody's got an opinion about it, but nobody's willing to go and do that. He did that on a big stage against a guy that does have some boxing experience. Is he world class level? No. But he's done it quite a bit before. He still stepped in. He still did the thing. He still put his face out there. And, I mean, credit to him for that. Obviously, it didn't go the way that he wanted.
No, not
but
at all.
How can you say anything if you've never had the
And your boxing career now goes back how long?
oh, gosh, we're creeping up on 15 years now.
Really? Okay, so
Oh, yeah.
a decent amount
I
of
would say
time.
we're at 13 years, yeah.
And you've spent most of your time at what, cruiserweight?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep, I had a couple of heavyweight fights. Never got down to light heavyweight. I don't have the bone structure for that.
Now, it's interesting because WWE used to have what they called the light heavyweight championship, and weight class in wrestling has not always meant the most, but I think the idea was to give some of the smaller guys, because this was at a time when the big 250 plus pound guys, The Rock, Stone Cold, they were the world champions. So WWE decided to create the light heavyweight division. But I've always said to myself, and I think for me, light heavyweight was big, more so in UFC when Liddell and Ortiz made it big. That's always a very specific type of weight class. I've always heard light heavyweight because, I mean, it's a little more strict than heavyweight because heavyweight's kind of, you get the minimum and then you can be as big as you want.
Yeah.
But light heavyweight, you have to be a minimum and there's a maximum. But it's still a heavyweight build? Is that kind of what the idea would be?
It just depends on how much meat you got in your bones. I mean, I've seen middleweights that are 6'2",
Right.
and they're phenomenal athletes.
with
You know,
power, yeah.
I've also seen heavyweights that are like 5'8".
There was a guy in the Ultimate Fighter one time, I think it was back when... it wasn't when both the Mats were doing it, but one guy, Corey, he was like 6'5", and he was a light heavyweight.
Oh yeah.
No,
I think
no.
it's 6'5".
Actually, no, sorry, lightweight. I think it was like 120 pounds, like 6'5".
Just really skinny, but he had a lot of power because of the height.
Yeah.
So.
A lot of bones
Yeah.
sticking around.
Oh,
You
yeah.
can control that. You can keep your coordination. It's that's a
So,
dangerous guy.
so Nate gets knocked out by Jake. Jake does what Jake does, and he boasts about himself. Even though, let's be honest, no offense to Nate Robinson, it's not like he knocked out an actual champion of boxing, but now he's calling out people like McGregor and this and that. I think he dropped Mayweather's name in the post-fight interview. Mayweather has agreed to face his brother, Logan Paul.
Who actually, to give Logan credit, actually takes it a bit more seriously than his brother.
You know, okay, so...
Which is probably why.
Yeah.
So my fiance Allison is big into the YouTube world. For those of you that don't know, Logan is actually hated in the YouTube world because he went to the suicide forest in Japan and he filmed one of the dead bodies, and he basically poked fun at it.
That's wildly
disrespectful.
Wow.
Logan's channel was definitely hurt because of that. Logan's never really recovered from it, but
it was suspended for a little bit.
Yeah, it was suspended for a while. Logan, surprisingly, Allison has said, though, Logan has tried over the years to, I think, be a little better. Jake's just been a dick the whole time. Jake is just a complete asshole and nobody cares. But no, Logan has kind of sort of gotten a little bit better at himself. He's tried to repair the image. Sadly, he's still kind of a dick, so I think it's more YouTube forcing him to do it. But my question to you is this. We have Mayweather, question the record or not, it's 50-0. 50-0 is 50-0, and he's had some fairly high-profile fights in his career.
Really?
And
that's an understatement.
well, ever so fairly.
See how
That's just a
this
matter
show
of
is.
that's a matter of opinion.
Right, yeah. Can I explain this though? Can I explain this though?
go
Best defensive fighter in the world is definitely.
I agree, but no, okay. So I was going to ask you a little bit, boxing history for Mayweather. Do you feel that Mayweather can be considered a dodger in his career? Did he dodge certain people, or was it because you're the guy that told me he fixed the boxing world in the sense that he made it about the fighter was in charge. The fighter's the one really making the money with everything. So, but my question to you is, was he dodging guys because he didn't want to lose, or is it he always saw the dollar amount go up if he pushed it a couple of years? Because obviously the Pacquiao fight has been wildly criticized, not because of the actual fight, although there was a lot of criticism. I've watched that fight 3-4 times. Yeah. I gave that to Mayweather every time. I don't think Pacquiao won that fight. Yes, Pacquiao was hurt, but you take the fight, you take the fight. If you don't pull out, then that's on you. But my question to you is, for Mayweather, can you call him a dodger, or was it always business to him? Before you answer that, can I jump in real quick? It's open forum to anybody here.
No, it's okay, because I think that's a fair question. Even someone like myself, I'm big into the fight game. I've actually seen a couple of your fights when you're amazing.
I appreciate
so when you told me you were going to be on the show, I was like, I'm actually excited to talk boxing, like, for real. I think it's more, for him it's been more wait to see where the money's going to be for that fight than dodge. But I think it's more 75% wait and 25% dodge. And here's what I mean. I do think they should have had that fight with Pacquiao. He should have had that fight way earlier than he did.
I would say 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. Because I always thought, I'm like, well, the longer he waits, so the more of a chance he's going to win, because Pacquiao took more of a pounding in his career. Because Pacquiao is more of a, he's more of an offensive fighter than what Mayweather is. Mayweather, the big thing for Mayweather is you're not going to hit him. Like you're not going to hit him. He's going to wear you down, and by the time the fight's over, you realize like you didn't get a shot on him. But Pacquiao was more of a power fighter, which is why he's so beloved in this country.
Pacquiao definitely.
Here's what I'd say. I wouldn't say Pacquiao was a power fighter. I would say Pacquiao was a volume puncher.
Okay.
He would just bury you with shots.
And there is a difference.
To knock you down.
And there is a difference, obviously.
Score points. Points. And I'll tell you from my experience, when you're in that ring, it doesn't matter how heavy that punch is. Obviously, the heavier punches have a bigger effect. But if you get hit with 10 punches and you have a hard time picking them off, you still get hit with 10 punches.
Now, okay, here's my question to you.
Thinking about it before you throw something
Right.
out.
Now, Jesse mentioned And I would say that there's not much of a debate. He is probably the greatest defensive fighter of all time because I've never seen a guy that won 50 fights and came out of it and still probably looks and
Still had it together.
yeah, exactly. So, but my question to you is, what is more physically demanding as the opponent? Missing that many punches or getting hit by more punches? Because obviously Mayweather is famous for winning the judges, which I think was very rare to do in boxing up until I think he did it.
Here's what I'll say. Mayweather is a phenomenal boxer. He is boxing done well.
Yeah.
Hit and don't get hit. At the end of the day, that's what boxing is.
Yes.
You do it tactfully.
Yep.
You make them miss and you make them pay. Mayweather did it very well. Unfortunately, it's not a spectator sport.
Yeah.
Nobody wants
No,
to
no,
see
no.
a guy walk
Yeah,
in
yeah.
there, dodge everything, boom, and hit somebody.
But when you're paying $100 for a pay-per-view buy,
well, that's why boxing is a specialty sport.
And that's why
It's not one of these grotesque, violent things that you get.
Yeah.
I feel that you get a lot with MMA. You see somebody eat the same kick as a field goal or a spinning head kick.
Yeah,
or
yeah.
You see somebody get choked out. You want to see grotesque entertainment and violence.
But most people
if
live
you
on
want
the-
to see art,
Yeah.
you come to boxing.
but most people live on the
it's a thinking man's sport. It really is.
Yeah, exactly. But most people kind of live on the idea of YouTube highlights these days, and I think boxing is able to build fights on power punches versus what the actual fight ends up
They
being.
could in the 90s.
Yeah.
Nowadays, people want to see boxing done well.
Really?
You look at the guys.
Okay.
You look at the guys.
So were you satisfied with the last heavyweight championship fight? Were you satisfied with that?
Not so much. Admittedly, I'm not the biggest boxing fan. Like
No,
I don't.
no.
Not, as far as not so much the biggest boxing fan. I don't sit down and watch
Right, no.
any sports at all. I'd much rather get up and go do that.
Right, no,
Yeah.
yeah,
than
no,
sit down
exactly.
and watch.
Yeah.
With the heavyweight fights, it's not the most exciting weight class to watch.
Not
I mean, me
anymore.
being a cruiserweight, like
Yeah. No,
I'm used to being
yeah.
right there on the edge of like power.
Well, that's where
and
wrestling
volume,
comes
you
in
know?
the sense that the reason why the cruiserweight division was kind of the difference in the old WCW shows was it was Mexico, it was Lucha Libre, it was the high flyers.
And to be fair, it was way more exciting because
Is
the
there
guys.
really a cruiserweight division?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nowadays,
They're
not
again.
yeah, about 205 pounds is what they do the
205,
cruiserweight.
Yeah, 205 or less. Yeah.
That's what Darren is trying to get to.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rey Mysterio is one of the most well known.
Huh.
He's my height,
And probably
weighs a lot.
Ray, I could
And
probably
well
lift Ray and carry him around for a
Yeah.
while because I don't think Ray goes about 180 right now.
you can almost compare him to a Floyd Mayweather in the sense that he used his lucha libre style
Yeah.
as more of a defensive style and molded it and has molded it for the last 25
Well, I think
30
that's
years.
fair because remember,
Seeing people.
well, because remember, boxing, as you've pointed out here, Al, it's not what people think it is all the time, and the media maybe doesn't always promote it the correct way. In wrestling, Ray is one of the few Mexican superstars who has survived on American-style television for over 20 years because
is hard
Ray
to
has
do.
been able to adapt. And obviously, I think one of the most important words in your sport of boxing is adaptation because, I mean, they always say styles make fights. That comes from boxing, but styles can also hurt one person involved in said fight. I think what I talked to you about a while back was going back to what you said 5 years Pacquiao Mayweather. I think take out Canelo Alvarez, insert Pacquiao when Alvarez faced Mayweather. Now I think you have the correct Pacquiao fight, and then I think 5 years later, Canelo is now, I think, widely considered better than he was when he first got in the ring with
Sure.
Mayweather.
Oh, for sure.
But at the time, I felt Canelo
He was
didn't.
pretty young in that fight.
Oh yeah.
He didn't match up with Mayweather
But he's
at
also
that
been
point.
professional now in Mexico since he was 15 years
15,
old.
I think.
Yeah.
You can down there, you can't up here.
Right,
yeah.
You know? But it's a lot of it is. I mean, the art of timing. That's another great. It's a great discipline to have.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously one in all of sports.
Yeah.
But in all of business as well. When
Yeah.
you're working on things where you need that attention. You need people to spend their money, spend their hard-earned money on that ticket. Somebody wants to sit front row to see this fight. You need to get that attention. You've got to build it up.
Yeah.
There's got to be a time to build up a fight.
And I feel like Mayweather, as I said, sort of redoing the idea of the boxing game because it used to be you had a promoter and then you had a fighter. And I think a lot of boxing history is the fighters got taken advantage of certain promoters. That's
Yeah,
well documented.
which is
But
unfortunate, yeah.
but Mayweather was like one of the first guys where it's like 100 million, 120 million, and people were bashing him with the Conor situation, but Conor came to his world.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why Mayweather was getting the larger end of that purse was because Mayweather was largely the one promoting the fight because it was his world.
Yeah.
Conor can be Conor and sell hundreds of thousands of pay-per-view buys, but to try to convince the boxing world to watch Conor come over, Conor's not going to be the guy doing that.
Yeah, and he got knocked out last night.
It was a much bigger move for Conor than it ever would have been for Mayweather. I think Mayweather got the shit end of that stick on the entire promotion simply because he gave somebody a shot that I don't feel deserved it.
Probably not.
Strictly for the promotion.
No. And that's fine, but that's why I've said fairly high-profile fights because I feel like Mayweather has always given people the fight they want, but never at the right time. But again, I'm the business defender on the show, as these guys will definitely say. So I understand having to sell pay-per-view buys, having to sell tickets.
Yeah.
So, but, now, in an exhibition, look, if anyone out there thinks Logan Paul, I mean, boxing...
Oh, no. Let's get two things right, people. Number one, that boy's going to get worn out in the first round. And I'll give it a minute and a half. Like, I give it a minute and a half. It's going to... Like, I already paid my $45 to watch that.
Well, Logan's
he's going to get worn out.
I guarantee you Logan's going to come out and try to throw punches.
It's going to be Floyd Mayweather's first knockout. That boy's going to get finished. But please continue.
He won't knock him out.
But man, he's going to be done.
Yeah.
He's going to be spent.
Because even though Floyd's Floyd's like 51 now, but Floyd can still move like he's 38. Like, he's going to wear this boy out. Like, when I heard that he took the fight.
I've never seen Floyd not come into a fight where he at least looked like he was ready for it.
Like, he's going to wear this boy. I don't even understand why this boy took the fight. But the moment he took the fight after his brother, and my whole thing with his brother knocking out Nate was he just embarrassed black people to me. Like, bro, why would you take that fight?
That's what Shannon Sharp said. That's what Shannon Sharp said the very next day. Hey, we need our pound of flesh back, so we'll take the brother. We'll take the brother.
Cause bro, you could have lost that fight because you couldn't hit the kid, no problem.
Yeah.
But like, damn, the boy knocked you out, like for real. Like we got, I didn't have to. We started trumping. I was like, damn, we taking L's all over the place, bro. Like, come on.
But on the same note, as far as the sport is concerned, he actually stepped in there and did it on a very large stage.
That's very true.
I'm telling so. So I was
and
about 20, I was about 23, 24 fights in. And I went, the biggest crowd I've been in front of, 3,500 people,
Yeah.
So I went overseas, and I got up in front of 10,000 people.
Yeah.
I'm like, what? And I'm telling you, that's a mental...
Yeah.
And especially for him, it's not something he's ever done before.
Yeah.
So to have that many witnesses,
does the NBA thing factor in at all? The fact that he was in 20,000 people arenas for as long as he was, Nate Robinson. I mean, like, does that factor in at all?
How would it?
Oh, to maybe his mental preparation.
Yeah. No, that's my point.
If he was playing basketball, it wouldn't matter.
So no. So solely my question is yes or no. Because he's going into a different style of sport, because it's a completely different thing,
not.
It means nothing. Okay.
I'd say it means it doesn't mean anything because, regardless of the size of the crowd, he's never done this before in front of a crowd.
No.
True.
So the way that's going to play mentally is like, oh, I hope I'm doing this right. I don't want to embarrass myself.
Yeah.
And if you go into a fight with any of that in your thought, like,
Yeah.
Like, obviously, your energy and your actions are going to gravitate towards that, am I supposed to be here? Or, like, how dare you?
Well, that's what I've always said,
Yeah.
going back to Conor, was Conor, as I think Leroy and Jesse pointed out, last night got knocked out by a guy that he dominated the first time, but the guy admitted, look, Conor wins 90% of his fights before the fight even starts because Conor is one of the greatest hype man of all time in all of fighting. So obviously the mental aspect does play a role in getting in there. Now, you were obviously overseas. You had never even fought, I think, had you fought in a different state before?
Oh, yeah, plenty of times.
What was the farthest state from Minnesota you fought?
Gosh. Oh, for an actual fight? Gosh.
Before the fight over in Europe.
Come to think of it, I've trained in many different states.
Right, yeah.
Never had an actual fight.
Okay.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done 8, 10, 12 rounds.
So then you take a fight.
Yeah.
And by the way, your team did an amazing job keeping the Facebook audience updated the entire time.
I had no idea. I clocked out for the whole damn.
I understand that.
I'm the social media guy. I was like, I don't even care.
You're the fighter. You worry about hitting people. Yeah, there you go.
Dude, I'm glad. That was the first man. My coach, he does not do social media. He does not do attention.
Yeah.
He's so against all of that. So it was really cool to
You were working with John, because I mean, John.
Oh yeah, he was. Yeah. Oh yeah.
John.
That's right.
No, I worked with John a lot when in semi-pro football.
Yeah.
We obviously had you at one of the games for the coin toss and everything. But no, I mean, you got. I mean, so okay, you take this fight. What is your first thought of the fact that you are traveling not just to his house but to his country?
Yeah. Give
What
him
was
hell.
Okay, yeah, no, yeah, perfect. No,
But I went in there
that's
thinking,
great. I love it.
I'm not supposed to win this fight.
Right, yeah.
I might as well make it tough for
Yeah.
him. Or do the best I can in time. And it again, like we had spoken, it was short notice. I had, 15 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
You know, like, oh,
Wow.
all right.
Did he have somebody pull out of a fight? Is that why you took
Yeah.
it? Okay.
There was another guy that claimed injury, 15, 20 days before the fight. And, I literally got off the couch,
Yep.
put my beer down, and went for a jog after I got the call. He forwarded me the email, I'm like, oh. 2
Well,
weeks, huh? Yeah,
well,
we're leaving
Clink.
in 10 days. I'm like, oh,
Oh,
shit.
that's it. All right.
Strapped on my Asics.
There you go.
That's
Went
the
to
time
work
where
the
you
next
sit there.
day, filled out my time off request. Like, I need this or I
I
quit.
did, yeah. So now,
Wow.
That's the true moment. Hold my
Yeah.
beer.
it was in Poland.
It was in Poland, yeah.
Okay, so you and I were talking.
Actually, that one was in Poland. Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes,
So
yes,
anyway, so we were talking about the crowd earlier before Jesse got here,
Yeah.
and Jesse, you and I obviously watch a lot of New Japan style wrestling. Now, Al and I started this whole conversation in the fact that you were telling me about the crowd, and your word would be stoic
Yes.
for the crowd. It was
Excuse
still
me, not the Poland fight, but the Russia fight. Yeah, it was the Russia fight first.
Right, yeah. Okay,
Russia
yeah.
fight first, and I'm telling you, like, I didn't know what the venue looked like. I didn't even bother. I just wanted to train.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know? So we trained for it. I said, okay, looked up his height. Okay, got a bunch of 6 foot sparring partners. Beautiful. I was doing great, right? And then we get out there, and we're experiencing everything. There's obviously the language barrier.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
Traded out my American cash for the Russian rubles, you know.
You were rich,
And-
apparently.
Oh, boy, I'll tell you what, $100 American dollars is about 5,500 Russian rubles.
Woo!
I'll tell
All right, there you go.
They gave me a stack of
Damn.
cash. I'm like, what?
What?
All right.
Okay.
I'm doing all right out here.
There you go.
Let it rain, let it rain.
And what was interesting was right when we got off the plane, I was still just like, it was 43 hours of travel, man. It's like fucking week. It's
Oh, I
like
bet,
9
yeah.
hours to go over the pond, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
And the
I think
adrenaline's
we
not
had
helping you sleep at all.
Oh, no. So we get off there, we get off the plane, I look like I've been on hard drugs for a month. I'm carrying my bag, I look worthless, right? The media, boom, right there with a camera in my face.
Oh, they were just like straight up.
They
Yeah.
were like right there, shakedown style.
Was he like a now? Okay, he obviously wasn't the Klitschko brothers,
No.
but was he a fairly big guy at his level over there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, he was a national champion.
Really? Oh, really?
Two-time
Yeah,
world champion there.
that's
Oh, yeah.
right, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
It
Now-
was his 9th pro fight, but he had like 300 or 400 amateur fights.
Oh, really? Okay. So okay.
Yeah.
Now, okay. For those people who might be listening who get confused,
Mm-hmm.
because obviously there's a big deal in Japan of when guys go from young lion to the main roster.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah.
What exactly declares you becoming professional versus amateur? Is it
So
literally
it's
just you
it's
decide?
different. Over here in America,
Yeah.
you can literally get off the couch, go sign up, and you go jump in a fight if someone wants to fight you.
Yeah.
Over there, it's more like a rite of passage.
Oh, really? Okay.
You become a national
So that's the
champion.
New Japan idea.
Yep.
Yep, you win a national champion. This dude have been winning them for a while. I mean, you don't have 300 fights.
No,
You
no,
know,
Yeah.
in the amateur, like I had like 50 to 70.
Right.
Like I jumped in.
And those
I wanted
amateur
to-
fights still count as experience. That's not something
It's
that
all
you
experience.
can.
You're still boxing.
Yeah.
But everything in the pros is much faster, and it
Right.
hurts a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I mean, the gloves, it's like wearing 2 pairs of choppers. You no longer have the headgear. You don't have a shirt.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
you've got to be dialed in when you turn professional.
Yeah.
And before that first 5 to 7 fights, we'll say, it feels like aggressive amateur boxing.
Mm-hmm.
It's not much. But when you hit that 10 fight mark, and now your ranking starts to climb a little bit,
Yeah.
you get to that, like, top, 50% of fighters in your country, they're looking.
Yeah.
Now they're paying attention. It's like, we need to 10. All right, what's the
Because the
story
idea
now?
of the young lion over in Japan is they go to the dojo, and I believe they spend now. Is it a full year in the dojo normally?
It's a year. Sometimes it's 2. It just depends on the guy.
Yeah. And then they'll send you off for excursion
For about a year.
for
and
about
half.
a year. So
Sometimes longer if they need you to learn more and more before they even bring you back.
So what you probably experience on American television with wrestling is WWE will sign a former football player or former this. Actually, interesting story. Darren Corbin from Minnesota, his brother Baron Corbin, who is in the WWE, he's actually a former Golden Gloves boxing champion.
Okay.
So when
Yeah, in Kansas City.
yeah,
That's
in
right.
Kansas City. He's a former offensive lineman in the NFL. So they obviously show off a lot of the athleticism he has as a big guy. He doesn't throw a lot of punches because that's not kind of the style of wrestling they want him to portray. But it always comes up from the commentators is when someone starts throwing hands with him, it's like, y'all need to be careful because this dude has some real credentials.
Sing on that.
Oh my god! But no. So what ends up happening is so Corbin got signed to NXT, which is developmental in WWE, and they kind of fast tracked him a little bit. All of a sudden, he's on the main roster. This and that. In Japan, it's more the boxing style in that people legitimately are not allowed to even hit the main show
Yeah, no.
until they've done all these things. And what's interesting is if you ever watch Japanese style wrestling, there's a hell of a lot more people at ringside.
Yeah.
Where in WWE, you've got the referee, you've got the commentators, and then you've got about 4 or 5 camera people.
Yeah.
There's about 20 to 30 people at ringside in a New Japan style match. Interesting story. Almost 15 to 20 of those people, those are actually the Young Lions. They're there watching the stars, the aces, all those people, and they're there in case of injury, they're there in case of this. Sadly, part of your initiation is sometimes
to get beat up by Minoru Suzuki.
Suzuki Gun is where Young Lions are like, you really want to do this? You really want to do wrestling? Because this is how you do it.
Minoru Suzuki's kind of
It's like, you come here, kick your butt.
Oh, Suzuki loves doing lines.
He's also a former MMA fighter.
He is.
One of the big interviews he did was like 4 years ago, where he talked about why he does that. His group does that. It's to get those young guys to understand, like in wrestling, you take real shots.
Oh yeah.
Like so, it hurts like hell. So it almost like he was saying, it almost goes back to you guys having to perform a lot of amateur fights before you can even get to the professional level.
Yeah. Oh gosh, yeah. And especially over there, the instant you win, to my understanding, the instant you win a national title over there as an amateur, you're now sponsored by the country.
Really? Okay.
That is now your job.
Yeah.
So that's why they have these massive amateur records and these like very small, professional records.
So you get there, you're ready for the fight. Are you still on hard drugs, or are we finally kind of acclimated to where we're
Oh, so my thought when I've traveled overseas is you fall asleep when it's time to fall asleep there.
Well, okay, so funny story.
You know?
When the Vikings
I agree with that.
Yeah,
one,
exactly.
too.
When
Yeah,
the Vikings
you just go through it like
when the Vikings played the Pittsburgh Steelers over in the UK a few years ago, Leslie Frazier was actually the still head coach. He hired a sleep specialist, and he had one rule: stay up as late as possible the first night you're there. Because Europe is obviously very different from America, where over here it's a minority in the sense of someone will call you and say, hey, what are you doing tonight at 2 a.m.? Over there, that's the norm. 2 a.m., it's like, what are you doing tonight? Because, hours there are very different. So you went to bed, there, and then was it one sleep? Was it two? Like how quickly did you feel like yourself?
one day.
Really? Okay, so...
Because I stayed up for that 42 hours.
Yeah.
42 hours watching the clock.
Right.
But obviously, like, we're traveling somewhat, I believe we're going back in time or something like that.
Yeah.
Because we're going against the way.
Yeah.
Traveling
So-
over the Pacific.
So,
Yes.
it was that on the clock. On the actual timer, it was like a good day and a half.
Really? Okay.
Just under that.
Okay, so
Wow.
yeah,
So it was like, well, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. You're trying to find a cow. And you got all your shit. Everybody's asking you, "Where's your passport?" In a different language. What is your passport? American? Spicy.
Yeah.
It was like you're dealing with that language.
Were you guys taken
barrier
care
everywhere
of
you
well
go to.
as the
What's that?
opponent? Were you guys taken
I'm
care of?
telling you,
fairly?
I've never been treated so well.
Really?
I've never been treated. I haven't been treated better at Black Bear Casino than that. Man, every time I've been overseas, I'm like, well, I'll be damned. It was very interesting for me, being a black man, even up here in Upper Minnesota.
Right. Yeah.
like a raisin and a bowl of Cheerios here. Same concept over there,
Yeah.
but you're not seen as like odd or out of place there. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, you're not from here. What can we help you with?
See,
You know?
see, I
You're
think.
like food here.
See,
You know?
I think that's the misconception that, and by the way, folks, Al, congratulations. You were on the very first episode of this show that is Cheeto free. The very first episode that is Cheeto free.
There we go.
And,
We got healthy snacks.
Kinda.
there are no blonde Cheetos in the White House. I just want to point that out, America. We are very excited on this show. But I think that's the misconception that people get, is that when you go over there and you are facing someone who, as you said, is now sponsored by the country, the
Yeah.
nationality, they are looking at you in the same respect as you look at another boxer. They're viewing you through those kind of glasses.
Mm-hmm.
Is that you are here to perform at something that they respect very heavily.
Absolutely.
Is that kind of
and
what we're
it's a much higher respect. They hold boxers and fighters in a much higher regard there, and it's you don't get any of the harder edge personalities. You don't get like the disrespect or the
Yeah.
trash talk. It's held to a very high standard and a very high respect.
I think
to everyone that competes.
I
Yeah.
think what is unique in you saying that is it. Okay, so I always use this example when it's American versus outside America. So let's take Kitchen Nightmares for a second. Stay with me for a second, Gordon Ramsay.
Oh,
If-
okay.
If you watch his UK version of the show,
Mm-hmm.
it's more about the food. There's not a lot of arguments. There's not a lot of personality, but that's kind of the way UK television works.
Yes.
Is that in America, the American version, it's a lot more him butting heads with the owners of the restaurants, because Americans, and sadly I think this is a reality TV show problem, is that we like confrontation, we like characters, and I feel like Mayweather would not have gotten as big in America if he wasn't the character
Exactly.
that he was,
It's-
and he had to play the villain a lot because I feel like a lot of people wanted Alvarez, they wanted Pacquiao, but then he came out as the villain.
The big thing, people, you're right. People do love conflict, and especially when it's televised and it's advertised. People
Absolutely.
want to. There's so much more focus on entertainment
Yeah.
than skill
Right.
and athleticism.
Which obviously
People-
is different overseas because they wanted to watch
they
the
just
fight.
Yeah, they want to see the fight. They don't want to see all this, whoa, this tough guy stuff. Like they don't want. Over here, it's all about entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
How many viewers can you get? How many hits can you get online? How many followers can you get?
Yeah.
You know, it's more or less about entertainment and numbers.
And
Over
that's
there, it's
kind of
more or
how
less
New
about
Japan
skill and
runs.
talent.
Whereas with New Japan, the crowd is normally quiet. I feel like guys like Jericho and Omega got reactions, but that's because they're obviously Westerners.
Jericho probably mostly got reactions because of his
Beating up
history.
the ace.
It would be like Floyd going to Russia. He might get more of a reaction just because they know who he is.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, yeah, I think that
Westerners
that crowd
in New Japan
difference.
have to work 4 times harder as Gaijins because you are trying to prove yourself. I would say Prince Devitt got some of the most vitriol hatred, but that's when Bullet Club obviously first came out.
He also went through their dojo. But I think
He was running the dojo at one point.
Yeah, I think so. But I think that's actually a good correlation between what you probably experienced and what Westerners experience going to New Japan Pro Wrestling. Is that over there they actually respect the sport. And now New Japan has become more entertainment based nowadays, but really when
Well, they're trying to break into the American market.
True,
so obviously,
true. But when they
You
started,
can
they
say
were
whatever
very
you
much
want.
like
America's
boxing.
still
It was pure sport.
still the entertainment capital of the world.
Oh, there's no doubt about
That's
that.
the idea. But my whole thing about it is, so okay, we have the fight. You're in the middle there. What exactly was the crowd like once the fight started? Were they? I mean, was it still sort of a sporadic stoicness, or did they finally come unglued?
Oh no, they were cheering for their guy.
Okay.
Oh yeah, I was definitely not the hometown. They let me know that, It was good show. I was surprised to get a few claps, And it was, but it was loud. I mean, 10,000 people is not a quiet crowd.
No.
And there were 5 other world titles on that card.
So this was a pretty big card for
It
them.
was huge.
Wow.
We were in the cab on the way to the venue, and I hadn't looked up the venue at all. I knew it was at an event center. I'm all right, cool.
When you
We're
say
like-
event center, you think bingo hall.
For real. For real.
Yeah.
Like, I'm thinking Blackbird Casino. Like, I want to walk through it. Nah, this shit is like... It made the deck look like the kiddie pool.
Wow.
Oh, I bet.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
that's what, 2,800, 3,000 people right there?
Around that, yeah.
Yeah, this was 10,000.
Yeah.
I think, what is the deck, like 3 tiers? This was
Yeah.
5
Yeah,
tiers.
yeah. Okay,
Wow.
And
so
TV cameras, it was everything. It was a 10-minute walk to get from the car to our locker room.
good lord.
Security, the whole 9 yards, camera in the face.
So would you
like,
call it like old school American Fight Night when like weekly boxing was on cable? Would you call it more like that for them, or was this kind of like a pay-per-view style night for them?
Oh, it's definitely pay-per-view style.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. No, this is a very
So this was Sunday
remarkably-
night promoted.
Oh, my
to,
God.
okay,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, no. This is a very, very high-end show. Like,
Okay.
Did it?
whoa.
Did you feel like Rocky Balboa walking in there, kind of maybe?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
From the way you're
Like,
describing it, it was
I'm
like
telling you, like,
Yeah.
my
We
knees
watched
went
this-
numb
we
on
watched
the way
this-
out there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Like, they had a guy directing me on where I needed to move on
Yeah,
the way
yeah.
to the ring. It was like, no,
you must go that
tell me
way.
what I need to do to, like,
Yeah, yeah.
amp up the show. I'm like, man, yeah, what it looks like. It's a fight. So I'm doing all this stuff, and then I get in the ring, and it's a beautiful ring. It's so bright. Everything else is a little bit dim, a little bit dark.
Yeah.
You get into that ring, and it's like, oh.
Interestingly enough, they used to do that in the old school, old wrestling territory days. I think Jim Hurd was the guy that like bring the lights to the ring, crowds
Yeah,
dark.
it darkened out
Yeah,
the
yeah.
crowd. Yeah.
It did all of that.
Okay.
I didn't know it was that big of a production.
Yeah.
So I'm over here just like, oh, look at him. Everybody looks pissed off.
They do not want me to win this fight.
So I get in there and do my thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Starting to get a little amped
Yeah.
up. I feel a little turtle starting to spool up a little bit here. Like,
What was your opponent's entrance like?
man. They gave him a like 3-minute video thing
my
on the teleprompter. All this other crazy. Oh my God. I'm like,
man.
dude, are you serious? I looked at my coach. I was like, you could have told me we
Okay,
were
this
fighting in this
sucks.
shit. He's like, I know if we did, you would have been way more nervous than you are right now. I'm like, oh, we were 10 miles away, and it looked like the freaking airport. There were lights and
yeah.
shit going. That's
Yeah.
like, what's that over there? That's where we're fighting. I'm like,
What?
huh? I'm expecting like Black Bear, like
Right, yeah,
Hinkley Casino,
Yeah.
something about that size.
Yeah. Oh, that was the biggest venue in the entire town, basically.
That, I would put it close to the country.
Okay, oh, really?
That's what
Really?
I'm
It was
saying.
a
Wow.
big dumbass.
Okay,
thing.
all right,
Like
all right.
stupid.
I'm about to
Like,
say, unless you probably went to one of their soccer stadiums, yeah.
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
like that. Ooh. I mean, you look it up on YouTube. You can see, like, even like in there, they had the lights and the whole
Yeah.
show and everything going. I'm like,
Mm.
yo, boy, shit. Get it on, goddamn.
I'm gonna have to look that up.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
So-
yeah. Like you walk out there and the biggest TV screen on Seat of My Life was in that thing. Hey.
Really? Okay.
Oh yeah. Like I'm talking about like. It was intimidating just going into the venue, and then I got this big old bastard. They told us they online they have the centimeters and everything. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
6 feet tall.
Try to convert it, yeah.
I got 4 6 foot sparring partners.
Yeah.
I'm slumping them guys. I'm
Yeah,
putting
yeah.
hands on them. I'm like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah.
I'm good.
Mhm.
I'm about to go out there and whoop some Russian ass. I got out there at the weigh-ins. That big bastard is standing like this. I'm like, what? the hell? Crap. All right. Keep the
All
bass
right.
in your voice, Sans.
Yeah,
Come on now.
yeah.
Woo, he jumps on perfect. I jump on, their scales fucked up. I'm 2 pounds heavy. I now have 2 hours to lose that weight.
Oh,
Come on,
wow.
all I winner shit, grab my jump rope.
Yeah, yeah.
Cause I sure the hell ain't paying that dude $2,500.
Yeah, right,
And so he came back, weighed right on. It's like, dude, I just lost 2 hours of recovery time.
Wow.
Right? Yeah.
Wow.
And this weigh-in, it was hilarious. It was in the middle of the mall.
Yeah.
So imagine like where the rotunda is at the mall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine that, but a lot smaller and 2 floors higher.
Oh, my
Really? Okay.
goodness.
And man, I'm telling you, like, ooh, okay, this is like people
Yeah.
gathered for that shit.
Oh, I'm
Like,
sure.
Me, obviously, I'm a raisin in a bowl of Cheerios.
Yeah.
They know who I am.
Yeah. It wasn't hard to tell you were the fighter.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. So we get out there and said overweight. I'm like, ah, shit, all right. Cool. So I go sweat the weight off, and I get back on there, give it a shot again. We have a fight, good joke, you know. The place just goes nuts, right? We do our little face-off shit,
Yeah.
and then we roll out. The manager's like, hey, Ow, I'm like, what's happening? I'm fucking still just sweating.
Yeah.
So a little detail to add to this thing, I jumped on the scale, I was still a little bit over. When I jumped on the scale, I was my coach, because this happened like two fights before, I was so close.
Yeah.
He was like, hey, just remember your underwear weighs 0.3 pounds. I'm like,
Right. Okay.
how do you know that? It's an odd detail to know what's
Yeah.
but I guess that's his job. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Sure enough, 0.3 pounds over. Boy, I tell you what, I have never pulled my Johnson out in front of a crowd and got that round of applause before I stepped on the scale. I tell you, my waistband hit my knees and the whole place is just. For real, my manager's over here just dying. Just dying.
I will say this. If you did that in America,
Yeah.
I feel like the reaction is different because, again, this goes back to the UK idea. Everything over there, they don't bastardize a lot of the things
they
that
really
we do.
don't.
No.
So like, yes,
Right.
I think a naked schizophrenic is a naked schizophrenic. No matter what you do. But in this particular case, they knew why you were doing it, and they didn't have to have a commentator explain it. They got it.
Well, they knew why, but I'm telling you, like, even before I even weighed in.
Linkin Park's a different kind of. Yeah, okay.
That's
Linkin,
right.
I get it.
If it was me, they'd look at like, is that guy a boxer? Oh, sorry, I put my
You'd be one
pants
of the
back
Russian
on.
bears that comes in from the mountaintop.
Sorry, I'll put my pants back
They'd be
on.
looking at you and saying, "Where's the unicycle?"
It's a really funny piece, though. To the finish, going, hey, yeah. Just so you know, there's this group over here that wants to get a picture with you. I'm telling you, there's some beautiful Russians.
Oh,
It's just
yeah.
fine. Ugh. And I'm like, all right, well, let me put my jaws back on.
We've all met Lana. We all met Lana.
So we go over there. I go over there, like, hello, how are you? You know? I'm like, hello, big shot. I'm like, yeah, no problem. Guess who took the picture? Their husbands.
wow!
I was like, oh, I'm playing this one up. Yeah, I'm doing some shit like this here. And I'm like leaning and put my arm around them. And I'm like pulling her into my chest and whatnot. And she puts her hand on my chest and just leans in and shit. I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hey, this is my husband.
You know?
Shit.
At the end of the day, it's like, man, I am in world-class shape right now. I don't care how dark these
Right?
days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
I know people are gonna know what the hell's happening if I gotta whoop this dude's ass.
Yeah.
It is what it is. You know? But either way, it was the funniest thing that happened out there. I'm like, man, I tell you, what, still got it.
I'm still rocking, man.
So we get to
doing all right.
So we get to the fight.
Yeah.
We're all hyped up. Now you were talking earlier about speed and like the mental aspect of it.
Yes.
What did it feel like with this guy?
He wasn't the fastest.
Really?
I
Okay.
don't even think he was the most talented. I think the size and the production of the show is what got to me.
Okay.
I wasn't ready for that.
Yeah.
And
So going back to the
automatically-
Nate idea,
Exactly.
is that you've been now you were the more experienced. Now, okay, you clearly weren't the more experienced fighter.
No.
But
on paper, with
on
a
pa-
professional record, it looked like I had 3 times his fights.
right, exactly. But
But in all reality,
But
he
this
had
goes
like
back to the
300 more fights.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
But this goes back to production, how you sell the fight, persona. That is just as much part of the fight as the actual physical competition.
Yeah.
Because remember, when Conor McGregor became Conor McGregor, he beat the guy in 13 seconds. The guy, he was the first person, I don't know if you knew this, he was the first guy to beat him in 10 years.
Yeah.
Conor McGregor, when he first won the belt. He was Jose Aldo had not lost in 10 years.
And
He
he
beat him
rode
in-
that victory for the rest of his career.
Why?
Until a couple
Why
nights
not?
ago.
Going back to your point,
So
though.
last night, yeah.
Last night.
Going
yeah.
back to your
Yeah.
Going back to your point, though, I don't agree, because we're talking about people criticizing Nate not being able to do it. I don't think that Josie Aldo should be tweeting about Conor McGregor losing. It's like, dude, you lost in 13 seconds. You're not the guy who should be.
Like, dude, you should stop talking right now.
Yeah, that's
Just
basically
remember,
it.
that dude whooped your ass. You shouldn't didn't have
He took
anything
you out in
to do
under
with it.
30 seconds.
Yeah,
right?
right.
Yeah,
Going to
right.
the point, though, if you go back and you watch the pre-fight, because you and I have talked about this before, Conor was loose. He was stretching before the fight. They were doing the referee was like doing the thing. Connor's stretching. I'm talking he is down, his back straight, he's got a leg stretched out, and Jose is looking straight down, his head looks like 1 billion pounds. You could his shoulders were slumped. You could tell Josie had never been in this environment.
Yeah.
Connor was something that Josie had never prepared for.
Yeah.
I mean, Josie looked like the weight of the world was on his shoulders, and Connor looked like, I lose, I'm still going to go have a beer at the end of this. I could care less. So obviously the mental aspect falls into that. Do you think that that's how Mayweather got to 50-0 was more he built up the 0 on his record more than he built up the double-digit fight victory? Or do you think that I'm not here to take anything away from Mayweather in the ring?
So, what I'll say with Mayweather specifically, he is the master of timing, both in action and in management.
Yeah.
He will catch a guy on the way out just before he's at that experience level where he can actually compete effectively at that level.
Canelo.
You know?
Yeah.
And he's got a loud enough voice where he will get the crowd and get the attention so loud that you weren't ready for it. Same thing that happened to me over there.
He's the first guy to average, I think, 100 million for like over 6 fights.
It's amazing what he's done for the sport, and I think he doesn't get credit for a lot of the good that he does.
Is that because of his personal strife issues? We're not here to delve into his personal life. This is about the box.
It's a little bit of personal stuff, whatever that may entail, but also like with the person that he has to be when he's promoting a fight. It's so easy to criticize the fighter for what they got to say. It's so easy because you got to be aggressive. You're seen as aggressive. Number one.
Well, it's like
you disagree with one person now. It's like, well, dude, I don't want to fight. Why are you being so good? Everybody gets fucking weird.
Well, but Connor's the guy. Connor's the guy who we all know pretty much set off Khabib because he mentioned his religion and his wife and and everything. But it's like fighter. But I don't think Khabib really hates Connor off camera. Because Khabib understands fighting.
You go after anybody's religion or culture or any of that, that's a low blow. And that is some stupid shit that's got nothing to do with the sport. Yeah. It's got nothing to do with anything.
That's always been more entertainment part.
I always thought Khabib was going to win anyway because Khabib, in my opinion, is on another level. I think Khabib could actually get in, and this is no offense to your sport, I think he could get in and strike with a bunch of boxers right now. I'm not talking Mayweather level guys, but he could probably take out some
a lot of respect for Khabib because I don't like the fact that you got a big head and he deserved it. He's one of the best mixed martial artists.
Well, he's 29-0, and he's had some big fights.
True, but you lose one fight, and you're like, yeah, I think I'm retired. No.
He didn't lose. He's still unbeaten.
You gotta
think
like.
No, he didn't. Khabib's 29-0.
If I could jump on.
Yeah. He's got to look up the research here in the middle of the show, so you go right ahead.
You lose one fight, you're 29-0, you lose one fight, and you want to quit. At the end of the day, fighting sport. All the sports in general, they're all damaging to the body.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's still 30 fights.
Yeah.
That's true.
30 professional fights. Regardless to all of that, if you can keep climbing and stay healthy and be there for your family and your friends, do that. But if you see that spark of like, who knows, he might have been at 25 wins. Right. And I already kind of felt that way. But if he can go make a few million doing it again, shit.
Well, that's like, Vontae Davis was a very good cornerback for a while in the NFL, but then he retired at halftime, and everyone kind of lost respect. But, he hadn't just thought about that, we're getting our asses kicked. He'd been thinking about that probably through training camp.
It was just the straw that broke the camel's back.
Yeah, exactly. It was just getting your butt beat.
He shouldn't have signed that contract, though. But that's different because, boxers, you guys take... And football players do take a world of punishment.
Oh, yeah.
But you guys don't have the protections that the NFL finally have given them now.
Nah.
So, for me, when that happened, you brought up Shannon Sharp. I was on his side. Bro, why'd you even sign that contract?
Yeah, exactly.
You have been playing like trash for 2 weeks. You guys signed because 2 of their best starters got hurt and they knew you were a veteran. So they pulled you out from your couch.
Yeah,
but it's not like he didn't have $50 million sitting in the bank. He was okay.
Vontae got paid, yeah.
Come on, man.
I want to throw some at you because one of the biggest things that has recently happened in women's wrestling was Ronda Rousey came in. Okay? Now Ronda Rousey came
Wrestling
in.
She was in WWE.
Pro wrestling.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
okay,
yeah,
okay.
WWE. So Ronda Rousey
Not
comes
amateur.
in.
She
No. So Ronda Rousey comes into WWE. Yeah, she was kind of on the back nine of her fighting career because she had quote unquote been getting her butt beat, but she should have never fought the way she did against Holly Holm because you're about to stand with a 24-time kickboxing champion and you're a brown belt.
She got cocky. That was the problem there.
The camera will definitely make you soft.
Yep.
But the thing about it
is
is-
the real enemy on that one.
Do you blame the coach for not looking at her? I mean, is it that simple in the moment that the coach says you're a judo black belt, don't stand with a kickboxer, or do you blame the fighter in that case? The Holly Holmes fight.
I would just say the game plan in general was just off.
Yeah.
I mean, I fought MMA. I fought MMA guys. I fought great boxers. I've had great success against both.
Yeah.
And it's at the end of the day, boxing is very much a team sport. No one person loses. If you watch a lot of my interviews, I always say we.
Yes.
Or us.
Yes.
Or any of that, because I know damn well I might be the one out there doing it, but it's more like iRobot. I'm doing it because coach sees something that I don't see that's right in front of me.
Yeah.
People
It's-
on TV don't hear what's being yelled to you or even what's being said by the cornerman. I mean, it is legitimately you are following a constant game plan that is evolving throughout the fight.
There's been times where I've been in the ring and we've been mixing it up, this, that, and the other. He's like, double up! The hell for bow! Oh! Okay. All right. That'd be beautiful.
Yeah.
Right? Lead hook. I'm like, what the hell for? He ain't here. He jumps in with something stupid. Bow! Like his nose.
Yeah.
I'm like, I didn't see him doing that.
Yeah.
Good call, coach. So it's always a we. It's a us.
Right. So
you know?
so going back to Ronda, Ronda came into WWE because of the obvious issues that she had in the fighting game.
Yep.
What I've said about Ronda, and I have not look, Ronda Rousey deserves everything that she's earned in terms of respect and love and admiration. But I feel like Ronda is what she is now because she became bigger when the women's fighting was not at its peak. We hadn't found the Holly Holmes, the Amanda Nunes.
But to be fair,
She was beating people that Kat was probably the fight.
Yeah.
She was a Brazilian who said, "I'm going to kill you." It was interesting because she was the one who was the McGregor Mayweather during the pre-fight interviews.
I think
she was doing
for
that.
Bellator for a while.
Yeah,
too.
yeah, she fought in Bellator. She finally faces Rousey, and she's got Rousey, and Rousey's stoic, and then Rousey beats her in like 35 seconds.
Yeah.
But obviously, tapped her out.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, Rousey got to where she is now with WWE because she was never the best. She was just the best of the timing of the sport. So my question to you is who is a boxer that you've always looked at that many of us think was great, but really it was more timing?
Joe Louis.
Really?
Yeah.
So to you, Joe Louis doesn't stand up in terms of boxing. People don't think that he stands
Joe
up.
Louis was before
despite what-
Muhammad, wasn't he?
Way
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Way before. Joe Louis, the reason why I love Joe Louis is that he's a humble champion.
Yeah.
He won a world title multiple times.
He did.
Didn't say a word.
No.
Wasn't worried about what it looked like. He built his entire career during the civil rights time.
Yeah.
And was very quiet. People thought he had a speech impediment. He didn't say much. He just went in there, whooped ass, and walked out.
Yeah.
Went home, enjoyed his time with his family. Never said a word. Never boasted. Never bragged. He was very humble and very quiet.
Yeah.
And he never got the respect that I feel that he ever deserved.
Was it because of the timing, the civil rights
I
timing?
think
or
a lot of it was the timing. He dealt with all the same racist
Yeah.
bullshit that all black men did, but he was still world champion.
Yes.
People hated him for it. They would set him up just to have him lose. He'd go in there, whoop ass, walk out. Thank you.
So in your opinion, he's not a product of the timing. He was actually that good, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so going back to my question, is there a fighter that we in the combat sports world believe was built up as a great guy, but really wasn't that great? It was just the type of fights he had.
I actually have one to throw out because when you think about this, I was just talking boxing on my radio show with the guy. I've been thinking about Oscar De La Hoya a lot in that question.
Okay.
Because when I think about him, but so Oscar was probably one of the smartest fighters I've ever seen, but he damn sure was not the most skilled fighter I've ever seen. And this is just from my own eyes when I think back on his career, because now he's going to enter the Legends League that Mike Tyson started, which is why we all got to see Nate Robinson get knocked out. I think back
I
when
actually
Bill.
kind of want to still see Tyson fight because he looked good.
I mean,
I hate
he
to
still
say
got
it.
power, but he's very slow now. That fight was ugly.
I almost shed a tear.
Yeah, like because
Not to
Roy Jones-
paraphrase you, not to paraphrase you, but to go to you because they talked about it the next day. Now, Skip Bayless is the only guy that I heard say he would like to see Tyson fight not a premier heavyweight right now, but a guy who's got a couple heavyweight fights. Do you think Tyson would win that, or do you think Tyson just can't keep up with a guy who's on the come up?
I think
because fighting Roy Jones is not like Roy is way past
Here's
his
my
prime.
thought on it. I think the two guys, it kind of hurt my soul watching.
Yeah, it did.
That's fair.
It's like you guys are legends in your own right. You don't need to entertain shit.
No, they
Right.
don't.
Like, they've made video games after you two.
Yeah.
Why are you doing this? Like, it hurt me to watch. I couldn't watch the whole
Do you
fight.
think it's because they came from an era where they were not able to make the money Mayweather did? Do you,
No.
do you think it was a money thing, or do you think these guys are fine money wise?
I-
and they
well,
can
I
live
know
off those
I know
names?
they're both fine money wise.
Okay.
I had some conversations that
Well,
Okay.
maybe Mike more
yeah,
from
they're
the
doing just fine.
maybe Mike more from the theater stuff recently because I know he blew through a lot of that, in his
You
younger
know,
days. But
it's true. We blew through it in the younger days, but they're both at an age and they're both at a high enough respect because of their track record that you don't need to fight anymore.
Okay.
and I respected the thought of the Legends League, which is basically kind of like, hey, giving Legends another shot.
Nobody wants to see a bunch of old men fighting.
But I agree.
I hate to say it, but it's basically just the senior PGA.
You ever been to a boxing gym and seen the 40, 50 pluses spar?
Yeah,
It's
It's
painful.
fucking sad.
Yeah. No, yeah.
You don't want to see that shit. Respect to them because they get in the ring and they do the
No,
damn
yeah,
thing.
no, yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, what the hell are you doing?
yeah.
Raise your kids,
respect
man.
goes to a
Well,
certain
well,
point,
that's
you
why
know.
they always say boxing is a young man's game.
It is a
Well,
young man's
After
game.
a certain point,
before
you gotta step away.
responsibility, before
Yeah.
bills, before all of that stuff, get into sports.
Yeah.
Okay,
Get
so-
into sports.
Okay, so we looked at you feeling Joe Louis didn't get what he wanted. Now,
Didn't get what he deserved.
Didn't get
deserve
what he
it.
deserved,
Fair. That's my Freudian slip there. But now, okay, I feel like Muhammad Ali. We're going to switch over to a little wrestling now with Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali. Do you think that Muhammad Ali's legacy is more built on? Because yes, there are two legacies there. There's the boxing, and then there's obviously what he did outside of boxing legacy there. But when I just say the name Muhammad Ali, what do you think? Do you think his boxing career gets the respect it deserves, or do you think his boxing career was elevated because of the extracurricular stuff that was going on outside of his career?
Oh, of course, it was elevated because of the things outside of the ring, and that's what made him him. He stood for something, and he didn't change because of what people had to say
How great was he as a boxer?
Woo!
as a boxer.
Woo!
The only
I'm gonna
reason-
let you talk. I'm gonna let him talk about it.
Hold on. Before you answer, we always like to just be very real
Yeah.
on the
Yeah,
show.
yeah.
In that, I am not taking away
No,
from Ali.
No,
I am
no,
asking
no.
from someone who is
I'm telling
a
you,
part of discipline. Was he
before-
really that guy?
He was really that.
Okay, and that's fair.
I'm telling you, the athleticism that he would show,
God.
the showmanship, he would make you look stupid before the fight, at the weigh-ins, during the promo, and in the ring he would back it up and make you look stupid.
Like he
while
was
he's doing
he was such a better athlete than
Did you ever
everybody
watch his fights?
it. The
else.
level of athleticism he would show in those
Oh,
fights
my
were things that people aren't
God.
even doing these
Now,
days.
yeah.
Did you ever watch any of the
Ooh,
Ali Prime
I
fights?
go on about Ali.
I
Oh
know,
my
man.
God.
No, that was before. No.
And the simple
Okay.
fact
I'm not
that
that
he had the audacity to stand for something greater
Yeah.
outside
Yes.
of the ring.
Yes.
And it's like, wow. You think of like someone's legacy, wow. And they did that right there in your face.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There was no keyboard warrior or nothing. They'll say it right in your face
And he
over
also
and over again. And go in the ring and back
and
it
you know
up.
it's interesting because I don't want to call out modern day athletes, all of them, but I feel like nowadays modern day athletes will do certain things outside of their prime because they need to maximize the prime of their career. He didn't care.
Nope.
He was in the prime of his career, and he found a way. I'm not putting LeBron James on that level, but I feel like if LeBron James was playing basketball at that time period, LeBron would have done something similar because LeBron's taken similar stances. But the difference is nowadays, taking basketball away from LeBron James is considered bad, whereas back then, taking boxing away from Ali was not as vitriol as I think modern day
I just want to
media
hop in
would
real
make it.
quick.
Yeah.
There's actually, when people sometimes compare him to Ali, there's actually nothing wrong with the comparisons in this sense. Unfortunately, it's not unfortunate. I mean, the information wave that we get from social media is great.
Yeah.
Sometimes not good, but mostly great because you get information like this. It's instantaneous. The problem for him is that he does so much
Yeah.
besides being the best basketball player in the world. And yes, people, he is the best
He is.
basketball
Sorry.
player in the world, even
I-
though he's 35.
I agree. It's 36.
Yeah, that's right.
36. He
Now,
just turned 36.
Jeez, damn.
Yeah.
KD, think about this. Now, with the
He's
way the
still young.
Nets are, KD will. If KD wins a championship this year over LeBron, to beat LeBron James, he's had not one, not two, not three, but 4 of possibly the all-time greatest players just to beat one 36-year-old.
Wow. Wow.
He needed Steph, Clay, James Harden, and Kyrie Irving just to beat one guy.
For sure. But here's the thing. So, and it's different because
We'll get to
the
Inoki here in a second.
The civil, because I know you got to get out of here. The civil rights era and what Ali did, it's just, God rest Hank Aaron's soul. The things that they've done for us as black people, it will never be duplicated.
I want to point
but
out.
what LeBron
I want
does
to point out.
is
I want to point out.
astounding.
Side note. I felt like a member of my family died when Hank Aaron passed away.
Yeah, that
because
stinks to hear
I did
about,
a
man.
project on that man when I was in middle school, and I wanted to delve into this because sadly this is good that it happened before you because we can bring it up, but sadly he has passed away. May he rest in peace. In my opinion, the true home run king, just because of
The steroid era.
yeah, exactly. But
Yeah.
but here's my thing. You talk about the way Ali handled it. Is it safe to say that Hank Aaron is the 180 in how he handled the same type of racism? Because Hank Aaron, okay, this is what I got from it. Hank Aaron handled things not in power, but in quiet. He quietly broke a record. He handled everything perfect. Now, I hate using the word professionalism because there's many different layers to professionalism, but Hank Aaron felt that's how he had to be a professional, was to not react. Ali felt to be himself, he had to react. Would you say that they're polar opposites in how they handle
I
it?
would say they're polar opposites. Everybody's got their own style of doing things. I think in a sport that's as naked as boxing is,
Yeah.
where like you're literally fighting someone hand to hand. The only protection you got is on your balls and on your hands.
Yep.
Do you have to hate your opponent in boxing in some way? Do you have to find that? Okay, okay, no, and that's good.
And I think it's just it's like asking if basketball and football are the same.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're both sports. That's about where the comparison is.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
With Ali, he was outspoken because he could be,
Fair.
and it's not a team sport. He
Fair.
is
Fair.
the team.
Fair. Okay.
You know.
All right.
With Hank Aaron,
Yeah.
he's one guy on a team of
20-some guys.
50 guys.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And yes, he stood for something more. But on the same note, it's again differences in technology there as well.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
How loud could his voice be?
That is true.
You know?
All right, so interesting because we talked about this early on. The beginning of what is modern day MMA is actually traced back to Ali, which I think a lot of people don't realize, and one of Jesse's all-time favorites, Antonio
Inoki.
Now, okay, Inoki is credited with creating the modern day Japanese style wrestling, along with Baba. But I told you this a little bit off camera, but we'll talk about me and Jesse, or we'll give you a little more history. Baba was more NWA actual wrestling style.
Yeah.
Inoki was always more shoot style.
Yes.
Now, so Inoki decided to, I think it was in '76.
Yeah.
So
June,
70.
I think.
Yes, so '76. Inoki decides he wants to become the mixed martial artist. He wants to become the greatest. Now, okay, Inoki's training is actually from Karl Gotch, legendary catch wrestling icon. He wants to fight people from other styles. He brings in Ali for a fight, 15 rounds. Now, this is the biggest fight that Inoki has ever promoted.
And this is a style of it's an MMA style fight.
Well,
it's not a boxing match.
No.
It's not a wrestling match. It is
MMA. This is the beginning of MMA. This is what a lot of historians point to the beginning. 15 rounds. I think it did like 20 million buys at that point.
Something like that. It was a pretty big worldwide event.
Yeah, no, I mean, Inoki had promoted this to the world. Now, you have your team. You always say we, not me. Now, books have been written, all these things. Ali is sort of credited as the one that made it crap to some people because his people kind of looked there and said, we can't have him lose. But Inoki's people did this. They're both guilty of it because it probably shouldn't have happened the way that it did. The original plan, non-shoot, was Ali would knock out the ref, and then Ali would get counted out because in wrestling we have a 10 count outside the ring.
Basically, at first they wanted to script it, and then like 2 weeks before it happened, they both decided, you know what, that would actually be a disservice to probably both of us. We should just shoot fight. And then they tried to agree on the terms of that. The terms of it changed apparently 8 hours before the fight started.
It was changed every 8 hours until the bell. It was and it was bad.
And then what happened was probably one of the worst but yet best events as far as combat sports.
The Dome was sold out.
Yes.
I want to point this out. Japan, I believe front row was 15,000 yen.
Yeah.
Which is about 3,500 American.
Yeah.
So I mean, back in those days, who knows what inflation would be now? But I mean, the place was sold out. But the overall fight is sadly more famous for Inoki being on his back most of the time.
The butt scoot.
Yeah, the butt scoot because Ali wore boxing gloves. He didn't wear fighting gloves. Mm-hmm. So I mean, and actually, interesting story here. We were talking about Ali and the athleticism. Inoki is actually credited with taking away a lot of that athleticism because Ali was hospitalized due to blood clots because the only thing that the rules basically turned into allowing was the leg kicks from Inoki, which if any of us...
And that's some shit.
Wow. If any of us have ever done anything...
Wow!
Instant text
I want to point
message.
something out. We are legitimately breaking news. You are getting a text about a potential.
And again, it's post-pandemic. It wasn't legal to train.
Oh, yeah,
for
yeah,
the
yeah,
longest
yeah,
time.
yeah.
It's well, everybody's looking. We were shut down a little bit before others. It's shit. Well, I don't have a beer in my hand, but I have cookies in front of me.
No. We have no proof. Turn the camera off. Anyway. So that is a legendary beginning of boxing to MMA style thing. The highlights I don't think you want to watch because it's not really endearing to what Ali did. Mm-hmm. But I do want to ask a question about the idea of the blood clots taking away. If Ali didn't have 2-3 years of blood clots in his legs, because I'm sure you understand what that injury would do to your legs. Do you think Ali could have fought at a higher level longer, or do you think that Ali's career ended at the time that it was supposed to? Was it physically for Ali, or do you think Ali mentally was just done?
I think it was mentally. Mentally, he was just over it. Physically, dude, how are you gonna punch somebody that's laying on the ground?
That's fair. That's fair.
Your legs never had the chance to build up the durability to take a leg kick.
Yeah.
Look at McGregor just the other night. Got that front leg schmucked all night.
Yeah.
And he felt like some half-assed flurry later on.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Ali never had the building up.
Well, the last heavyweight fight,
tissue.
the Gypsy King versus I forget.
Oh God, the other embarrassment of
Is that Wilder?
2020.
Wilder,
Yeah.
yes, thank you, Wilder.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Here's my question:
Yeah,
do you believe
To
Wilder?
answer your question earlier, Wilder is that dude.
Okay.
He's the dude that was built on
Yeah.
fluff.
Do you blame the ring gear? Can you blame the ring
No.
gear on that, or do you blame he just didn't have the legs because he didn't work on his legs?
Now, what kind of shit shape were you in that a freaking costume was gonna weigh you down?
Oh my God.
We also funny story.
I
Funny story. I don't know if I told you
get
this.
into
So okay. A few years ago, I don't know, but Edge, kind of a famous named wrestler, he had to stop wrestling due to a neck issue. Edge came back at the Royal Rumble the year that fight happened, Wilder, last year. What was so funny is Wilder blames the gear for being 40 pounds. Edge's jacket when he came back, mind you, Edge had been out of the ring for 5-7 years. He said it was 45, 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm like, how is... Edge did more physical than you did if you think about it because he's running around a ring with 30 other guys.
Yeah, but he took it off right away and then ran to the ring. So
Yeah, but he still had to walk up the stairs with him. This was a freaking baseball
just
stadium.
looked slow, uninterested,
yeah.
and thought he could just win that on pure talent. But I know you got to get out of here.
Yeah.
I'm not even going to get into that damn fight.
We got 2 more things here with Al, which is
Okay.
going to be a lot of fun. Number 1, we are going to go to... we were talking about racial stuff going on, and obviously all of us live in Minnesota. George Floyd was a big scenario. We actually talked about George Floyd on the show shortly after that had happened.
Yeah.
So right now in wrestling, we have a situation. We'll definitely get into that. Right now in wrestling, we have a situation where something is happening in wrestling racially that I think has never really happened, and I wanted to ask yours and Jesse's thoughts. So right now, Jesse, we have the New Day in wrestling. New Day is very power, positivity. We like video games. We're happy-go-lucky, this and kind of thing. But the Hurt Business, MVP, Bobby Lashley, Cedric Alexander, Shelton Benjamin, they look like Evolution in a way. Suits. Very stoic, very, and
taken very seriously.
So it's sort of taking themselves more seriously, the New Day, and they've had crossovers with that. Wrestling has been known to present black people where the only way back in the day I think a black person got over was they had to be happy. They had to be happy-go-lucky. They had to be positive no matter what happened. Do you think that any audience would be a little bit turned off from the fact that they're being presented in a way that is probably new to them? So my question to you is, how do you think a wrestling fan should think when something totally new is being put in front of them? I'm not saying that they should think of the Blacks as a sideshow, because obviously Kofi won the world title. He deserved that. First ever actual fully black man to win the WWE Championship. Deserved it. I love Kofi. But, Kofi, as you and I talked about, he's not The Rock.
No.
He's not The Rock where he stays the world champion.
Yeah.
You give it to him because he has that legacy.
Yeah.
But The Rock was a guy where, so a prime example is we have 3 main black groups in professional wrestling history. Nation of Domination.
Is that actually how they portray themselves? This is a black group, this is a black group, like that. Is that what they promote?
No,
or they just happen to be all black?
It's not promoted, it's just all black guys.
Okay.
Now, the Nation of Domination, we told you that we had an interview with D'Lo Brown. D'Lo has said, yes, we were presented as, I would say Black Panther would be a good way to say the Nation of Domination.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. No. Fists in the air. Everything. They were very serious. They wore, was it the Nigerian
They
flag?
also had 2 small white dudes they actually had for security.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Some shit on
It was like the late '90s. It was wild.
Yeah.
Man.
in case you answer the door first. Just in case shit.
Now I will say this. What I learned from D'Lo was it was just guys who were friends, they loved each other, and they enjoyed being themselves.
Yeah.
Now, New Day, while they are being presented in a very joking manner, I feel like that's who they are.
Yeah.
I feel like all 3 guys are just who they are. That's what they want to be, because Big E's a national treasure. That man is I love Big E.
I do.
But now you have the Hurt Business where they're being presented as more Nation of Domination than the New Day. So my question to you, Al, is it good or bad to younger African American people to see New Day, or is it more Hurt? Does that matter, or do you think that black people or white people, do you think people should just be themselves and that's a better performance?
Here's my thing is it's tough to say what's better for anyone. I'm not the spokesperson.
No. Yeah.
I speak to my own experience, and I mentor and I coach, and I guess I advise with that in mind.
So there's no right or wrong way to present.
There is no right or wrong. The only right or wrong way is not accepting who people are and what they do.
Okay, and that's fair, because like I said,
it's one of those,
you look at Xavier.
The person who's looking at them and trying to pass judgment, that is the person that needs to check themselves.
Yeah.
Open their eyes.
No, and that's fair. And that's fair. And I'm not trying to create a judgment. I'm just asking because, again, people thought that the New Day was going to be the Hurt Business, and then they came out with the unicorns and the breakfast cereals and the pancakes. But that's who those guys are. That's just who they ended up being.
They were marketing geniuses. So smart.
They sold so much money.
They were, didn't
Oh
they?
my God. They made money.
When they were in the house.
So,
Videos.
Oh, God.
but now I want Al to respond to what Jesse's going to say here. My question to you is, Raw's ratings are obviously in the tank. We all know that. Raw's not the most watched show. People kind of think it's one of the worst wrestling shows. Do you think the Hurt Business is hurting the old school wrestling view of people?
No.
Because black guys are
no.
So
in the past,
so
I'll make it quick.
Yeah.
So I don't think that's not what's hurting Raw. What's hurting Raw is the fact that everything else, because one, it's a 3-hour show. It is very hard to keep people attention for 3 hours.
I love the Hurt Business, by the way.
Even boxing shows that go for 3 hours, if the whole card ain't
you're
good,
gonna
trust me,
skip
people
the
will leave.
first half of
Yup,
it.
you don't give a damn.
Yeah.
You don't, Come back for the main fight. You don't get
No
it.
beer for you. I'm not getting that phone call. That started that.
But yeah,
I'm not getting that phone call.
I think we can both tell you as black men. No, it definitely wouldn't. They're probably one of the better things going on, and I'm sure we'll get into Raw a little bit more. But yeah, it's for me. Raw is in the toilet because it's more about you can't keep people's attention for the 3 hours, even though you have a 3-hour show. So guess what? People don't want to watch.
Yep.
That's usually just how that goes.
I've brought this up many times. It's very interesting because when I saw Evolution, Triple H, Randy Orton, Ric Flair, Batista, all technically white, Batista, and
Half Samoan.
Half Samoan. I just feel like it's interesting because I can't remember a fully black group that's been presented like the Hurt Business, because even the Nation of Domination wasn't presented as corporate. They were presented as Black Panther.
I would like to respond, but it looks like our man Al.
Yeah, I do that at all.
Thank you for showing up.
We're gonna do
It's
this
great
very
to have
quick.
you here, bro.
What's up?
You got like 2 minutes, maybe? No? Okay.
You gotta go.
My phone's going nuts, man.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen,
Oh.
Al will not be here. It's very sad, but we are gonna have Jesse hold a bet down. But Al,
And it's hot sauce. Oh my God.
quickly into the mic. Give us a 30 seconds. Haitian Temptation. It's your new hot sauce.
Yes.
You've come up with this. Can you give us a quick little thing about it before you gotta go?
It's our
Because
Haitian heat hot sauce. It's got all natural ingredients. There's no food colorings, no nothing. It's meant to be a healthier flavor option, flavor additive to all of your favorite dishes already. It's got a little bit of sweetness. Doesn't come from white sugar. It comes from raw honey.
okay.
You know, it's all natural
nice.
ingredients. There's no food coloring. That red color comes from the peppers and beets. What people don't know about beets is that they're so proficient at red blood cell development and recovery that Olympic athletes will test positive for blood doping if they drink raw beet juice.
Really?
In America, they will. Overseas, they don't use it. It's
No,
a regular part of their diet.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And it's so I've made it a point to add that into a lot of the foods that I eat.
Okay.
Okay.
Peppers, they're big in vitamin C and help you fight off everything that's you might be subject to while you're in the gym and while you're training and things like that.
We are obviously going to be promoting your sauce from here on out because I've had it. I think it's fantastic.
Awesome.
I'm
And
sorry.
apparently I'm going to suffer and get
Yes.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
I'll tell you what.
I apologize that we didn't
I'm
get
gonna
into
sit
it
down
more,
and enjoy
but
it.
what I love about our show is we kind of just shoot and we get to where we're going. And thank you so much for being here. Where can
definitely.
people find this? We'll obviously promote it in future shows,
Yeah.
but straight from you, where can people get this if they want to try it? Because we have viewers kind of really
if
from
you-
all over the world.
Yeah, if you want to give it a shot, go ahead and head down to OMC Smokehouse. I'm establishing our website right now. We have OMC Smokehouse. We have Corktown Deli. We're down there at the Luth Grill.
That's fantastic.
We're over there out of. We're working on Dovetail.
Oh,
so
really?
everybody Come
Okay.
on in. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Fantastic. That's
Oh
awesome.
yeah. And one of our biggest places, they actually have it as the main ingredient for a lot of the things on their menu is Montauk Ski Resort.
Really?
They have a bottle on every table in their event center. Yep. They use it for some of their.
So why did you start this? I don't think I've ever really asked.
So
What-
myself, I loved great food. I could only eat so much when I was cutting weight. But
Yeah,
I'll be
yeah.
damned if I'm going to eat like spinach and.
Are you allowed to do this during training camp? Are you actually allowed to have this during training camp? Have you created some?
That's why I made the recipe. that
Really?
it is.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Oh,
saw
nice.
a problem with a lot of barbecue sauces and sauces that I had on food.
Yeah.
There was too much salt. That much sodium, that weight is not coming off peacefully.
No.
So
Yeah.
we use just enough sodium for the fermentation
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of other healthy ingredients that I eat anyway. And I had some great flavors.
Nice.
And
We
it's,
will be putting a link in the description of this video to your Facebook page.
Yes.
We'll be making sure
Definitely.
that
we got Haitian Heat on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. We're all
Oh.
over the place.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Have to
the
find it.
website's
Definitely
going to be
have
up
to
soon.
find it.
you're gonna have to come back with the hottest sauce because we're gonna do
Oh,
something.
I know.
Sauce. We totally
I
forgot one
have
of it.
3 different ones, and I've just told. I thought they were in the box. They're not in the box. So I
perfectly
have our
fine.
mainstay right here, and it's
we'll
it's not
definitely-
meant to be the hottest. It's meant to be the best tasting.
We will definitely have you back on in the future for stuff. But Al, thank you so much for this wonderful boxing hour of the
Yeah,
show.
definitely.
Brought
Thank
to
you,
you
guys.
by Haitian Temptation Hot
Yes.
Sauce.
Thank
It's
you,
been
guys.
an
Thank
absolute
you.
pleasure. We will have Al back on the show in the future. But as of right now, folks, I've had it, the base sauce. For those of you that don't like heat, it is something that you will get a heat, but the flavor, I mean, he's not lying when he says the flavor just does not go away. It doesn't get hot, and it sits in the back of your throat, and it's got a nice tingle to it, but it's nothing horrible.
It's not gonna burn you out.
No.
It tastes
No.
great.
Absolutely love it. Absolutely love it. Thank you so
You're
much.
gonna enjoy yourself.
Good.
You're gonna smile
He has
about
to
the
be-
challenge right here.
He has to pay a debt, but he's gonna enjoy himself. Oh my God! I
Oh,
cannot
God, all
wait.
right, you guys, you all have
I cannot
the
wait.
best
Yeah,
day.
you
Thank
too, man.
Thank you so much. It's an absolute pleasure. We'll have you back on, man. Thank you.
Oh, God.
Alrighty.
I've got one more of them shits.
That's the last cookie you're allowed to have. I know. Your coach is not going to text me saying what
I'm
happened.
doing just fine.
You guys kept my guy from his five, damn it.
You're gonna call and yell at me for making cookies.
We are not liable. We are not liable to anything that he has to cut weight for.
Oh, that's great.
All right, then, fellas,
Thank
you guys take
Thank
it
you
easy.
so
You
much.
take
sir.
care.
Thank you so much.
Oh,
All right. So.
are you breaking stuff? Over
I
there?
don't know, get folks. My mic's just been used so many times. Okay, so now, first and foremost, can I just say, if we can get off wrestling for a second, that was great. I love that.
Oh, that was amazing, man.
That was so much fun. You know what I love about this show, and Jesse, you're obviously a huge part of this show now.
Well, thank you.
We get this opportunity to talk so many different things, but you know
I
what's
was
so
gonna say,
but you
Zach
know
might
what's
as well just move over so he can be seen.
I got it. What's
Yeah,
so,
you can move over. You mean?
I'll turn the mic off. We'll just move over. How's that?
And just turn that mic
Mike's-
back on because I turned it off.
Okay, perfect. All right, so here we go. Anyway, but no, I just want to point out what I loved about that, and it's sad that we couldn't get him for the whole show, but
Yeah.
but I, you know, we try to fit people in as best as we can.
Yeah.
What I love about that is wrestling actually has so many ties to so many other sports.
True.
And that's what I love about this show is we can bring people on who don't really. And the thing is, what I love is we got to talk wrestling with him, but he was able to relate to it. He was able to get to it.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this very quickly before we get into the rest of the show because we got a lot of stuff to cover today.
Have, look at this, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
Oh,
have
yeah.
the
Yeah.
hot sauce.
Tap
We have a
this up a
camera
little
set
bit.
up. This will be on our YouTube channel. You guys are gonna be able to see this. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesse, you have some crow to eat, but
I
we have
do.
some wonderful Quick Trip brand fried chicken tenders.
Yes.
We have an 8-piece here. Jesse, Jesse, you were actually very much. First of all, may I say, you were 100% willing to eat the crow.
Yes, I was.
But you were also very adamant that there was going to be no crow.
I didn't think there would be no.
Your
crow.
show, you have even said it's been hard for you to defend. Go ahead
Smell
and
that.
go ahead and
Smell
that. Just take a big whiff of that. It's
Yeah,
good.
it's gonna have a little kick.
Yeah, 'cause it has a kick to it. Jesse,
Oh, does it smell?
Jesse, we've got a wonderful vessel of this chicken here
All
for
right.
you. Leroy's delving out some of the sauce. You sir are going to take a giant hit of this because you and I both said AEW was going to do something with the TNT Championship with Brody Lee.
Yes.
But here's the deal. While yes, we found out Brody was sick afterwards, you're a man of your word, and you're going to take the fact that not much was being pushed. And
Yes.
by the way, Leroy took off the cap that only allows for dabs. He's pouring this. This is a shot of hot sauce.
Woo!
Yeah, you're not gonna drink it alone, man. That would just be horrible.
Yeah. So anyway, we have the chicken here. I'm gonna let you select your tender here.
All right.
You've had Quick Trip brand chicken. It's
I love
phenomenal.
Quick
I
Trip
enjoy
chicken.
it.
There you go.
I'm gonna take a little bit myself here.
You want
But-
to try some of the hot sauce too?
But
My little girl, my little 5-year-old, is brave enough.
to try a little bit of hot sauce.
Want to smell it?
I will do this with you, but remember, you're gonna do more of this because at the end of the day, I'll admit I'm not the biggest hot sauce guy, but we're gonna talk about why you have to eat more crow in the future. We're gonna pass the chicken here over to Leroy.
Oh yeah.
All right.
I need
All right,
Let's do this.
we'll dab of this. May I say, this looks like fruit punch.
It does. It definitely does. Want a piece? Okay.
Wow,
Wow.
Get ready. Go like this.
Woo!
Dip it
that's
in.
fantastic.
Just a little bit.
That
That's
is,
really good.
my God.
That's really good.
I'm going back in. That is.
Well, I have to go back in.
Oh
Is it
yeah.
hot?
Leroy, move your head.
Yeah, I'm eating the crow. Thank you, AEW.
Is it too hot? Is it too hot?
It's hot
for
for
you?
Jesse because see, I've only put a little bit on for flavor. You are dunking that
I
thing.
am dunking it.
He is
Oh, I'm
dunking
gonna
that
dunk
thing,
it in.
folks.
You want some more?
Oh man.
You want to try some more?
Can I just point something out? There is heat, but there's no sting. You know how they say don't do
Yummy.
water after hot sauce because it moves
Yeah,
around?
that's gonna hurt later, basically.
Yeah, no, not at all.
We'll have some milk.
But anyway, getting back to the wrestling side of things.
Woo! Okay.
Jesse, the AEW Impact partnership is finally bearing some fruit, but it's not. But it's not the fruit that we were expecting. Private Party is the first major thing we see outside of Kenny.
Yeah.
Please explain this to me.
So
Private Party isn't even one of the top underneath tag teams they have right now.
here's the weird thing to me, though.
I'm gonna keep going with this hot sauce with this chicken because my God, is this good?
Here's the weird thing about all that.
Is this all the same sauce? Because I'm gonna bring this with me.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, take that home, man.
These are fantastic.
Yeah, I got one here for me, so.
So the strangest thing about Private Party
Yeah.
Dip some more in?
is I'm pretty sure they were portrayed as baby faces on Impact, but they literally just turned heel on Dynamite
With yeah.
with Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
So, and they came to Impact with one Tony Khan, CEO of the company, one of the CEOs of the company.
Yeah.
With that said,
This might be the best meal we've ever had during. The
I was gonna say it literally
Besides
might
my
be.
baked goods?
But I mean, you have a lot of them here. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you got it, man.
Oh God.
I have no answers for these shenanigans
I bet you don't.
because what I don't understand is you already had a team that was planning on teaming with John Moxley to take on this so-called Bullet Club, which, by the way, I love that on Tamatonga's podcast, every time he gets a chance to point it out, he's
I was
like,
gonna ask.
"This is not Bullet Club."
You are OCBC all the way.
Of course.
But my question to you is, who do you think Tama would be okay with portraying Bullet Club outside? Now, first of all, we all know that Tama would not allow it outside of New Japan. We all know that he is New Japan till he dies.
Yeah.
But my question to you is, would he be okay with Balor and like Styles?
Yeah.
Why does he have an issue with Kenny?
Because he understands that they are the elite. He understands because one of the things he talked about on his podcast recently.
For those of you that haven't heard, Tama's Island.
Thomas Island, I believe you can find on iTunes and I think Spotify now. I don't know if you. I think he finally updated that. I usually just go to New Japan Pro on YouTube and they kind of post
links to it and everything.
Links to it and everything. But what he was talking about was
damn, that sauce is good.
It is.
My God.
Even when
This ain't a punishment for you.
when Kenny, unless you got some other really really hot sauce, you guys gonna punish me.
Nah. We'll save that.
Well,
We can find something. Oof, that is good.
just let it go for a little bit.
I don't know if I'll have to eat crow again because my days of super defending AEW are pretty much done.
Oh my God.
So what he was saying is the fact that even when they brought Kenny and Cody, and hell, when he brought the Young Bucks in, at first he brought the Young Bucks in to help them because, they were gaijins that had some fame even over there in Japan, and they wanted to kind of, build their brand, help them build their brand because it would help build Bullet Club.
Yeah.
And of course, they started, of course, bringing in their own friends, such as Kenny Omega and Cody Rhodes, and Cody, who just acts like he was never even a part of Bullet Club nowadays. It's incredible his change of mindset. So I think for him though, you got to remember Finn is the guy who originally even thought of the idea to do Bullet Club. So of course he would be completely fine. They're all completely fine if WWE were like, hey, why don't we get something together? And
Interesting point. He said on virtually the same episode he's open to working with WWE, but is that because Tama believes that they're the only ones that can be on New Japan level?
Interestingly enough,
because Tama will not work with someone that he doesn't believe can keep up with New Japan. Because Tama, like I said, is New Japan till he dies.
Yeah.
And Tama has always said, because remember when ROH and then we're dealing with, he was very critical of the handling of the Enzo and Cass situation,
Yes.
which ultimately led to nothing. Oh.
I have no idea what happened. I moved this and it went bleep.
Let's see if it's.
Let's
still
keep going.
recording.
Just the video. We'll put the video up. How's that?
So
the video's still going, right? Did we keep the recording? Did it?
No, it blinked off. I'll get it back on here in a second.
We still have the recording with Alan. And
This
everything?
is still go. Yeah, that's all going. So
Okay.
I'll just have to
Splice it
piece
together?
splice them
Okay.
together.
Okay, so we'll just wait till he gets
So,
going.
as
No,
we're waiting-
hold on, time out.
no, as we're waiting,
Yeah, as we're waiting.
if you guys would like,
Yeah.
find some hotter sauce.
Okay.
I will eat worst crow
Okay.
because
That was delicious.
that was really just delicious.
That was just fantastic. My God, do I love this stuff.
like
my God.
it's not even
I'm taking-
suffering.
Is it good?
Jesse and I are each
Yeah,
going
I'm
to take our
probably
own
taking
bottle.
the-
Oh yeah, I
taking
got
the
this
bottle
bottle
home.
going.
Yeah. No. We're definitely going to take that. Okay, so.
So I will accept a
Okay.
different punishment
Okay.
very near in the future.
We're going to pause here. Leroy will just start up a brand new recording, and we'll just go right from Thomas
Yeah.
Island, and then Leroy. You can splice them together, right? Leroy?
Yeah, I should be able to.
Actually, you might be able to recover it.
Yeah. Can you just hit play right from where we stopped?
See, it's not responding right now. So
Oh, it's not. Okay.
yeah, give it a second.
Okay, cool. Like I said, worst case scenario, we could just continue and then just put up the whole live video feed because Leroy's been recording that the whole time. We'll just have to make it our first live episode,
Right.
which would be a lot of fun.
That is weird that happened, though.
Yeah,
Well, I think
because an hour 26 minutes. That's about as long as we went with Al. Oh,
okay. Yeah, we're going.
Oh, we're back on.
All right.
Sweet. Okay, so for our radio listeners, that was a bit of a technical issue there. So we're kind of splicing the show up together here. So we're gonna go right back from Tama's Island. Jesse, you were talking about Tama saying that he's open to working with WWE.
Yeah.
He would allow Finn to use
Yeah.
OCBC. So, but so now back to AEW and Impact.
Bring your mouth.
You are no longer. Is this you kind of admitting defeat to me that it's hard to be a complete defender, and I no longer have to sit there and say, oh, it's only been a year, yada yada. I mean, like Jesse, this is starting to bother you on
It is.
on a me level.
I'm not quite to your level.
No.
But the frustration is there.
Yeah.
And here's what I mean. Because even with the Impact thing that they have going on, which I was hopeful with
We all were.
Scott D'Amore now involved and Don Callis, I was thinking to myself, okay, this could be good. Because to me, AEW just needs help with consistent creative. It's not as bad as Raw. I actually still think Dynamite is a much better show than Raw. But when I think
The
of
ratings
Dynamite,
don't say that, but all right.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna disagree with you on that.
and that's okay. And to be fair, there's also no more football on Mondays. There's no
True.
more, so Raw is competing against nothing anymore.
Yeah.
on
Well,
Monday.
yeah, now they are.
But when I think of the 3-hour show that I am forced to watch to review on Monday, and I think of the two 2-hour shows, Dynamite and NXT. Now, to me, Dynamite it was always kind of below NXT, and now it's definitely below NXT. It's below NXT UK for me, and I don't even get the chance to
I
watch
saw
NXT UK all the
that
time.
Tony Khan is talking about doing a 3rd hour.
He shouldn't, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Also,
Yeah.
at the end of 2021, NBC Sports is no longer a thing. So the USA Network is going to start getting NASCAR and hockey. Hockey does Wednesday nights.
Yep.
So NXT may have to switch nights.
NXT will probably move to Thursday or something like
Yeah.
that.
Whether they switch nights or switch networks,
They'll switch
That's
nights. probably.
rumor. There was going, but probably to switch nights.
No. We've already established on this show 1,000 times what keeps USA up is Raw and NXT.
There's WWE television.
Yeah, exactly.
And whatever
USA
sports
was
that they
stupid
actually
to get rid
have.
of that
Yeah.
But anyway, so first of all, I'm gonna probably go off on a small note here many times for the rest of the show. How great was Al?
Oh, he was amazing.
That was so much fun.
How much fun did we have with him?
just the information, because he's been a boxer for
15 years.
15 years, he
yeah.
said, yeah. And I've seen a couple of his fights. He's a very great fighter in his own right.
That was so much fun.
And just getting that information and having those conversations
For those
with
of
the
you-
professional fighter is amazing.
For those of you who may or may not like some of the shows we do where we get off on non-wrestling stuff, this show is meant to be, we start with wrestling, and if we get into other things, we get into other things, but it always comes back to it. But anyway, that was great. I loved it. So, back to Spot Monkey. How... Something else I think you need to ironically eat some crow for, and the reason why I put air quotes in crow is Sting is about to have his first match in AEW.
And I'm nervous.
Please, Lord, help me.
And it's going to be against Team Taz, and his partner is Darby Allin, and I don't think this is going to be cinematic.
Right
No,
now, it is
it's
not
a street fight.
Yeah, right now it's not just a
So-
street
So,
fight.
Jesse, explain to me what in the hell we're doing taking a 61-year-old Sting with a bad neck and putting him in there. Forget who his opponents are. Look who his partner is. It's the master of the bump.
You know what, though? Darby Allin.
He's going to take a bunch.
Darby
Sting
Allin,
is or Darby? Darby Allin has to take all of them. One bad
Darby
bump and
is.
Sting's
Darby's going
dead.
to take most of those bumps, but there are actual ways to protect Sting here. Hear me out.
Do go on.
This is actually something I can actually semi-look at. But here's what I will say. Here's what I will say to protect myself before this damn match happens. If they have him in a ring in front of people and he takes bumps, I'm out. That's my out. Okay? That's my out. Because here's how you can protect him. So in a street fight setting, by the way, in pro wrestling, we all know that it is partially scripted. So they can script the bumps where he's going to take his bumps, where he's not going to take his
But
bumps.
he's working. Okay. I want to point something out because Leroy and I talked about this last week. I don't know if you heard. Leroy finally found out what GMSI means on Cage's gear.
I actually don't know.
Get my shit in.
Well, that is a
Because-
terrible attitude to have.
So
No
what's
wonder Impact didn't re-sign him. Is Impact the better company? Not probably. Continue.
Yeah, moving on. But that's my question to you is, why put him in there with a guy?
Mm-hmm.
First of all, I have nothing against Ricky Starks. Ricky Starks, I think, could.
Ricky Starks is, if they're smart, will be the biggest star of their future.
That's my point. But like my whole point is like, you're about to put him in there with the guy who is now known on the indies as Get My Shit In. Which means he has to get in every move he ever learned. He has to get in every bump.
Yeah.
He's basically the Bucks, but looks like an actual professional wrestler. So
That's a good way to put it.
That's a great
Oh,
way
that's
to
a good
put
way
it.
Thank
to
you.
put it.
Thank you. If the Bucks had a baby that somehow grew bigger than them. Anyway, but
The baby's actually might grow bigger than that.
But Jesse, I'm worried because this is where I think the AEW fans as a whole are going to be exposed themselves because sadly they were the ones who criticized Goldberg. They're the ones who criticized Legends Night.
Hell, I criticize Goldberg now.
Well, hold on.
Hey, wait a minute. He still looks better than Jericho, and Jericho's younger.
Well, you know what? We will get to that.
Anyway. But to finish, we're talking about a scenario where they could ruin Sting before he could really become what he needs to be for them.
True.
So
I don't disagree. I don't disagree.
So my only question to you is what is okay? So I'll ask prediction time. What is the best case scenario where they don't even come out looking like a shit stain to their own crowd? Because I'm sorry, this has the potential to look bad to an AEW crowd.
You do a lot of smoke and mirrors in the back. If you're not going to do this cinematically, you can do a lot of camera angles, smoke and mirror stuff in the backstage here. That's the only way this thing works. And I have a feeling Taz will actually be involved in this for some reason, and that will actually help to protect it. Because Taz,
Sit down, ain't nobody want to see you.
Hey,
you are not the star of your own show, sir.
Funny Bone is. All right.
I'm a star in my own mind.
You really are. You really are.
But to me, if Taz is involved, which I think he will be, and they do a lot of smoke and mirrors with the cameras and how they decide to film this, then it'll be okay. even if it is Ricky Starks and Brian Cage. Ricky Starks is one of the best workers I've ever seen, and I've seen a lot of his work, especially in NWA. I even think working with Ricky Starks can protect Sting, because Ricky probably understands that Sting needs that protection. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So there, like I said, with a lot of smoke and mirrors, how he takes the bumps, how it looks. You'll probably see him like get his back thrown into like, weird boxes in the backstage area. You know what I mean? All of a sudden, these well stacked boxes or something. Things that won't really hurt, but they look bad, kind of deal.
Yeah.
That's the way this will work. Otherwise, this will be worse than when Matt took that bump and they didn't stop the damn match.
You got it at that level already.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Dude, like, he was supposed to have a longer run in WWE. They were planning on him becoming champion. Vince and Paul literally, Triple H, everyone. Vince and Paul literally have said in interviews that they plan on making Sting WWE champion for a short time. Oh my.
I was gonna sneeze there for a second. I survived. Sorry.
He lived.
He scared the hell out of me.
Yeah.
But yeah, they were going to make him WWE champion, and because of the neck injury, of course, they couldn't do anything else.
I don't know if he was going to win against Seth, but I do know that Sting was probably going to get the belt at some point.
I think the plan was for him to beat Seth, because it wouldn't have hurt Seth at the time.
No, not at all.
Definitely not.
So.
Sting was still viewed at that point as somebody that I think, well, especially going into the match because he wasn't hurt going into the match.
Yeah.
Sting was definitely viewed as somebody that was an old timer but could make good matches.
Yeah.
And
as long as he was a part timer back then,
but now, Leroy, Jesse just makes my point to our Spot Monkey audience of, guys, you can criticize the run in WWE all you want. He got hurt.
Yeah.
It didn't pan out the way that they were expecting,
Yeah.
so that can't be on Paul. That can't be on Vince.
Yeah.
So I look at the Sting WWE run. I don't hate on it because I know that it wasn't what I should have gotten. I know that. I get that.
The only thing I could say I could hate on it is it didn't last for very long.
Yeah.
No.
But
unfortunate,
Jesse,
it did.
But Jesse, we had this conversation with Corey. I think it was Corey who was very pro WCW.
Whoever both of us are.
Yeah. Both of you guys were. But the thing is that
which WCW pre-2019, late 1999 WCW, right?
Yeah,
when Hogan was in there, and that. Yeah.
Anyway,
which Hogan?
Fair.
I love both Hogans.
Anyway. So to go on here, I just want to say this: we were talking to him. He was criticizing the loss at WrestleMania. It didn't make sense for him to win at WrestleMania. You and I have talked about this. Seriously, people who need to understand that they were trying to give you the war that we never got crossover.
But to be fair to people who criticized that match, I also thought there was no need for that quote unquote war. You want to know?
But we're not talking about. Okay, fine. Take out the extra old timers.
Yeah.
Put in just the two competitors. What would have been the point of Triple H losing to Sting?
No,
there would have been no point.
About to say the only person probably with the whole authority storyline at the time that was smart of him to lose to, especially when it came time, it was either Roman Reigns or Daniel Bryan. And it was smart for them to beat Triple H, or even Dean at the time was
I would say
smart.
okay, yeah.
But yeah, with Sting, which is why I was kind of always
shotgunned that.
I shot a little bit.
All right.
Oh wow.
All right, Leroy's got. All right, Leroy put some hair on something. Mm-hmm. Anyway, but so
those balls that Darren Corbin hit.
Right? Yeah, that low blow. But Jesse, it's like I'm not trying to stop you
burn
from
some
talking.
of that off. Ooh.
I have been so worn out by everything that AEW has done. But see, I'm worn out in the way you're worn out by Raw. But the problem is that I have admitted to what AEW is because, again, and I'm not quoting Jim Cornette, I think they're just doing a show for their fans. They don't want to grow an audience. They don't care. And what bothers me the most, and this is what I would say to the Bucks, I'm not asking you guys to build the world's greatest wrestling company.
No.
But you guys are proving to me that this show is not going to get better. So I'm done with I'm done with the rest of the AEW community. Stop telling me to wait. Because, Jesse, nothing has given me any hope. In fact, they've gone backwards on. They're not going to get better.
I'm not telling you to wait. What I am saying is, what I am saying as far as that match is, this is the way it should go.
If Tony Khan can actually, understand he doesn't know what the hell he's doing and have somebody else come in and do it, maybe.
I agree.
But not while Tony Khan is booking.
I agree. Well, hell, it's not even just Tony Khan. I mean, they have the best tag team division in the world, and they don't know how to use all of them.
Your boy Chucky looks like a damn fool right now.
Well, see, the only thing that
Your boy Chucky T looks like an absolute joke.
You know what's worse than that, though? So does Miro.
Yeah.
Oh, Miro's been one of... We were actually going to do it today on the Spot Monkey Abyss. He is the biggest screw-up they've had on a person that they brought in where it's like, forget that he's former WWE. Forget that for 5 seconds. Let's take Miro from Twitch. He at least looks like $1 million. And he comes out in a Minnie Mouse t-shirt?
Yeah.
Look, folks. I am the first person on God's green earth to say I hate wearing 3-piece suits. I hate dressing up. I don't like wearing sport coats. I'm the guy that 99% of my wardrobe is jeans, and I just put 4,000 t-shirts on. Okay, that's what I do.
That's the best way to be.
I own 4 pairs of jeans. I own 1 pair of khakis that I use when I go visit my grandparents once in a while. Okay, I admit that fully. I have no issue with that. But here's my thing. You need to know that image is going to matter on a national television show.
That's true. I agree.
Miro.
I agree.
I don't care about the hair. I don't care about the pants, because the pants were at least looking professional. But the shirt made no sense. How you've presented him as a joke, and at this point, it's a storyline that, I'm sorry, it's like Raw in the 3rd hour. I don't care anymore.
Like he's only been shown as a monster once, twice. It's.
He barely beat Chucky T. Your boy Chucky looked. Yeah. I'm sorry, more Crow at some point. You sat here and you boasted about how great Chuck Taylor ultimately is.
But I never said anything about how they would book him. I just
That's
said
fair. Okay.
I just said Chucky T because I watched a lot of PWG and things like that. Chucky T is one of the best wrestlers in the world.
Well, but here's my question: if he's one of those people that you say he is, why can't his own people see it?
I have no idea.
Trent, you know as well as I do, Trent was the guy they saw as the star because he used to be Trent Barretta in the WWE. No. So if Chuck is that guy...
Trent was also well known because he came out with a lot of those guys.
I have nothing against Trent's background, but I'm saying Trent had the WWE television.
Yeah.
But dude, these are his guys. He was PWG. Yeah. This is his world. Why
has he been now put into a butler role for
a wedding that may or may not never happen?
Orange Cassidy to come save.
At this point with the wedding, it ain't cold feet. It's shittering it off the pot.
I just don't even care about the damn wedding anymore. I don't. I've never cared.
Yeah, they're doing that stuff, but also really, they're using an 8-year-old kid to fight a grown man.
See, those I don't hold against them.
I am not mad. I am not mad about what they do with -1.
No.
What I am mad about is when he's there, if you want to get gimmicky, fine. I don't care because that's the point. But when Dark Order is on TV and -1 is not there, if he's got school, if his mom won't let him go to the show, whatever, then you... Also, sadly, I hate to say it, Spot Monkey Abyss for the show was designed for former WWE guys who came into here, or former NWO guys or NWA guys who've come in and they've been shit on. They're shitting on this faction because they have no direction. Look, God rest his soul. You can't tread on Brody Lee's name for that much longer.
No.
It's dead. No pun intended. That is not a slight at him. God rest his soul. But the name Brody Lee in AEW Dynamite, it's done. It's dead in the water. It doesn't mean anything anymore. And by the way, I don't give a damn what any Spot Monkey fan wants to tweet out. Oh, we still love Brody Lee. No, you don't. Because you're a wrestling fan, and wrestling fans don't change in the sense of we still need the show to go on.
Yeah.
If AEW Dynamite never has another show and they end with the Brody Lee tribute, then the end is probably one of the greatest shows that have ever occurred in modern wrestling. But here's the deal. The Dark Order... But even when Brody Lee was sick and we didn't know. They looked like they were becoming, quote unquote, maybe a joke team. That's fine. At least they had a direction. Now they've got nothing.
Yeah, so
They're like halfway between the joke team we started seeing and now they're halfway between the seriousness before Brody Lee passed away.
Who are they going to find? I mean,
So-
do they have to find somebody like that?
Well, here's the interesting.
Is it
thing.
time to bring Matt Hardy to the Dark Order?
No, no, hell no.
Okay.
Matt is perfect where he is with.
I like bringing back the Matt Hardy brand idea.
Yeah,
That
well,
is-
it's big money, Matt, or
Yeah.
quote unquote.
Yeah.
So what
That
what
works.
they're doing, what he's doing with those two young kids is fine. He's actually perfect where he is. By the way, it
And
sounds
he's
like
great
he's
for them, by the way.
sounds like he's fine. Apparently, he had a really terrible car wreck the other night.
Okay.
And I read my wrestling news thing. It sounds like he's fine. Thank
Perfect.
God.
yeah, that's what I heard too. Yeah.
So they're doing this storyline with Hangman Page in the Dark Order. Hangman is probably the best thing that they could do for the Dark Order, and here's why. One, first off, like I said, I don't hold the stuff with -1 against them.
Not at all.
Because that's their way of letting the kid kind of live a little bit before
It's-
they let him go back to his normal
And-
life.
And by the way,
And
and they should just let him go back.
Well,
I
but
mean,
but
that's
also
what I think.
well, but also WWE is also guilty of. There are moments that we all know are built for just your core audience. You build that in,
Yeah.
and that's built in, and I'm okay with that. I
Yeah.
don't care because here's the deal. From what I've learned, Brody Lee was one of those guys where his legacy is going to be himself. It's not going to be his in-ring. It's going to be the man.
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that, but the point is that Dark Order, we've actually talked about it on the show because they might have a second show called Elevation. We've talked about it. They are one of the 6 mainstays with Inner Circle, with Moxley, with all the people that we had listed, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Oh yeah.
but Jesse, they have no direction. They have nothing. And I'm sorry, I don't view Hangman Page as much of a direction right now.
Actually, we disagree.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and like I said, I'm not putting stock into anything anymore. But hear me out.
You've
Hear me
already
out.
lost a lot of money on that
I know,
stock
right?
deal.
Hear me out. So, what I like about the Hangman Page thing is, one, it gets him. It starts to pull him completely away from the elite stuff, which thank God, because.
Well, the Elite shit
Well,
on him
yeah.
too.
Well, exactly, and that's the storyline. Is that right now, as much as he has fun with those guys, they win matches together, and he would probably fit best as their biggest, basically their world champion of their group.
Yeah.
That right now he's trying to overcome the fact that the elite shit on him so bad that he doesn't want to be in the Dark Order.
Well, but the one thing that I think Jim... See, okay, look. A lot of recent criticism that I've heard from Jim, I've even had trouble agreeing with. Because, see, to me, I understand Raw doesn't look like old NWA.
Is that what he said?
AWA.
Is that what he said? It
No.
looked like?
No.
Oh.
No.
Sorry, I'll hear you. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay.
I was confused for a second.
He doesn't like what they're doing with The Fiend and Alexa Bliss and all that kind of stuff. I get that. It doesn't look like old school wrestling.
Oh.
It doesn't make sense why they're fighting.
Him and Brian Alvarez don't like the Fiend stuff, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, but here's my thing. I like it. They don't. We disagree.
I
But
love
the
it.
one thing that I cannot disagree with what he said recently is his criticism of you've taken Hangman Page, who is athletic as hell,
Yeah.
and you turned him into a blithering, useless drunk.
That part
Emphasis
I don't
on
like.
useless.
Well, he's still probably one of their best in-ring performers.
While I agree, but he's busy looking like a drunk next to Kenny Omega. Yes, I know. Yes, I understand Kenny was going to be the breakout guy.
Yeah.
I never denied that. But you made Hangman. Where does Hangman go after coming out of the Kenny thing, looking like a freaking blithering drunk?
There's only one way to go, and that is to turn him heel. But it's it
But Dark
looks-
Order became the most sympathetic thing in the world after the Brody Lee.
But
event.
it's but here's the thing, and like I said, I don't put stock that they're going to actually do it. But what I've seen with the different stories is that at some point they will. At some point, hopefully, probably starting next week, you won't see -1 anymore.
Okay.
And so that because really, Stu and Evil Uno are a heel tag team.
Oh, yeah.
They're a straight up heel tag team.
They had a great match with Top Flight.
Yes.
And that's the only reason I watch AEW is for the boys, Top Flight.
So,
That's
So yeah, I think it's going. Plus, they're gonna apparently there's rumor they're gonna bring, the guy that originally was in the original videos. It was like their marketing guy or whatever.
Yeah.
They're actually supposed to bring him back.
Okay.
So there is supposed to be a slow descent back to a heel turn. Now, because there is a question now that John Huber has passed on.
Yes.
Who should be the new Dark Order leader? And I've said this, and I'll continue to say it. And I think they might actually do it. It should be John Silver, but John Silver should not be a world champion. Now, hear me out. John Silver is incredibly charismatic. He's probably their best speaker now.
John has been an odd bright spot. Only odd because again he was a secondary character brought into the Dark Order. I'm not saying that. Look, I'll ignore the fact that he looks like he's 108 pounds wet, but the fact is, but the fact is that if I'm going to be a wrestling fan and I'm going to just dive headfirst into the pool of AEW, give me a towel, Leroy.
Right there.
Okay, cool. Anyway, my whole point is this.
Or have some paper towels.
Yeah, right. My whole point is this. John has been a pleasant surprise. I have oddly enjoyed the things that he's done.
Yeah.
I still think he lied to the American people when it was like, "Oh, I wasn't totally knocked out. You were knocked out cold, bro." Okay. Don't even give me that you were knocked out cold.
I know that's so bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, no. So
now, when we get away from the Dark Order stuff,
okay.
There are some things since we're now in the abyss of Spot Monkey, as you guys like to call it. Which it is, and even JR called it out again. I'm like, at some point, either because they're not going to fire JR, but they're going to try to push him out the door at some point.
Oh yeah.
Because he's also just been grumpy, JR, which is well, then I don't know why you're still doing this, man. Just go do English for New Japan, JR. They'll pay you, dude. They don't care.
No, and that's fine. But the thing about it is I think Jim is just way too dedicated to finishing out a project.
True, probably.
Much to his detriment.
Yeah.
I think
because he clearly doesn't really want to be there every week anymore. No. So, who blames him?
JR works. Dude, JR is basically getting the Brock Lesnar treatment of he's paid full time to work one night a week, and he's the greatest living announcer.
Yeah.
You could call him the greatest announcer of all time.
Probably.
And I'm sorry, Jesse. I hate to say it. He is calling stuff that is below his voice. It is below the standard of This is the guy who went Stone Cold, and now he's calling for underneath talent. But oh my God,
He's dying over there. Everybody. Oh my God. He had too much of the hot sauce.
Yeah. But see, he's not calling an underneath 30-second thing that Raw needs to fill airtime. He's calling that for 20 minutes. You can't deny the fact that some of what is presented to us...
Oh, some of it is garbage. The women's division is still bad. They had something going really cool with Abaddon, and then Sheeta just won again. But Sheeta's really not really over as a champion because you never built her up. And then you kind of built up this heel Abaddon. People are getting behind it. Her page clicks go up. Her Twitter clicks go up. You got people from all over the world going, who the fuck is this? Even the NBA fans who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
So they actually started watching again because they're like, who the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then she just lost again.
And that's a scary looking bitch. Dude.
Oh, by the way, one of the big names that you talked about signing when you first started AEW, Priscilla Kelly, she's now in WWE.
She's now in NXT.
She's now in WWE in the Women's Dusty Rhodes
I
Classic.
think they won that. I fell asleep during the match because I was tired.
Did they win their opening round
You
match?
fell asleep.
I was tired. That's
All right.
It wasn't boring. I just fell
It
asleep.
was a damn good match. Me and my son watched it. Oh my God, we loved it.
Did they end up winning that?
We're going to discuss
All
that
right.
in a little bit.
Okay,
we
yeah.
can jump right to it.
No.
No.
We ain't done with this shit show
But
yet.
it doesn't even matter that.
Pass the chicken.
It doesn't even matter that
There's a little bit left.
they signed Priscilla Kelly because what were they going to do with her? They're
But
finally
this was
using
one of
Britt
the people.
possibly.
But this is one of the women that you publicized from day one.
I did, but on my own
not you, AEW.
I know, but on my own show a couple weeks ago, I'm like, I hope Priscilla Kelly either goes to WWE or Impact because they're not even going to use her in AEW. They still can't get the women's division right.
No. And here's the deal. This is what's so sad for me because I actually love current female wrestling. It's phenomenal.
What name were they going with her in WWE now?
Gigi Dolan?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. And anyway, put a pin in that. Anyway, here's my problem. And I'm going to speak directly to you and Mr. Omega. Actually...
Me and him will never be friends, so you have to...
Fair enough.
He might listen to us.
Maybe.
I can only hope.
Okay, fine. I will speak to Mr. Khan then, okay?
Are you dying over there again?
Who knows?
Dude, AEW is literally killing Zach.
Damn them.
You got small milk. I think it's the water finally moving around.
Oh,
but anyway,
what kind do you want?
let's take the blue one. But anyway, this is not even an issue of talent. It's not even an issue of writing. It is. You don't give a shit about this division.
No.
You were mad at New Japan that you couldn't wrestle with Riho, so you made her a champion, but yet you didn't cross paths with her in the short time you had her before she had to go back to Stardom.
Yep.
And now, there is nothing in wrestling, nothing, and we're in the middle of a pandemic still. There is nothing in wrestling more dead than the AEW Women's Division.
It's real.
Jim Ross put more faith in calling a Tori Wilson Sable match, which we all knew were farces. He put more effort into calling those than he is into calling what is an actual athletic competition. Yeah. It's a Stardom level match that is not being given what it wants, but I'm sorry, JR shouldn't give it what it deserves because at the end of the day, they are shitting on this women's division. I am actually fighting for the women of this division, although Abby from Discover Pro Wrestling and I need to have a talk here.
We need to get her on the show.
Eric says maybe, but probably not. But here's the deal. Here's the deal. If
Is
you're
it because of you?
No.
Oh.
If Abby, I love you to death because you are involved in a great project that we're all excited for. But if you're booking that the division is going to get better because of Penelope Ford, girl, you got to give me something.
Oh, is that how she feels? I don't know. Abby, I don't know
she did
you,
say that.
but
She sees star quality in Penelope Ford.
Sweetheart, I'm glad you see something in Penelope. Because all I see is someone Vince would pimp out for 6 months to get his blonde fix, and then she would probably be right. Seriously, she'd be right back on like main event.
He's not wrong.
I love that reference.
He's not wrong.
Like that's what she would be in WWE. Yeah, and by the way, the fact that she's in the top 5 now is ridiculous.
Can I point something out? Nobody has any idea what is going on with the Lacey Evans Ric Flair storyline. That's more intriguing than the AEW Women's Division. And nobody has any idea what's going on.
And that is trash.
Wait a minute. I know what's going on. She gets to ride Space Mountain. All right.
Yeah, because she's not going to become a better wrestler hanging around. I'm just kidding. I love you, Lacey. If you ever listen to that's a joke. I love you. That was a joke.
Limitless Lady on YouTube is actually very funny. I enjoy the crap out of it. Anyway, but no, Jesse. The one thing that no wrestling fan can spend even 50 minutes on is the AEW Women's Division.
It's ridiculous.
And you want to know what bugs me even more? Think of all the women that are out there that are former WWE. They don't even want to be a part of it.
No, they rather go to Impact.
Nobody who has been on WWE TV wants to work that division.
No.
And you know what? As much as you and I talked a little bit about that, Tessa Blanchard has been kind of it was bullshit the way Impact used her because it made it made Impact fall because in real life we know Cage is going to split Tessa Blanchard in 4 different ways. Okay, we know that. But the thing is that she can't save this division.
No, she
and
can't.
She's the number 1 female in the world. We all know this. Tessa Blanchard is the number 1 female in the world, bar none.
But you're right.
But the thing is, I can't think of anyone. Dude, Candice Michelle would rather still talk about her WWE days. She would rather show up at a Legends night. She would rather go back to when she was being marginalized as Vince's fairy girl, whatever it was. She would rather live off that than go be taken seriously in AEW.
Melina went back to WWE.
Yeah,
Like,
I
this
don't
is a
have
lot.
actual confirmation. Maybe Candice would love this if AEW would call, but AEW should call because they need somebody in that division with any form of star power. Because here's the deal: you talked about them not building up Hikaru Shida. Look, Hikaru Shida's deader than 4 o'clock because here's why: the Japanese girl, the bar is Asuka. Io Shirai is just a touch below, even though I think Io is the top of women's wrestling in the world right now.
Yeah.
But Hikaru's not in their galaxy.
No.
She is not even a small, insignificant star at a point next to
Bro,
Mars that no one
she's
cares
not
about.
even anywhere near Sue Young.
Yeah.
Well, here's interesting too. I just saw that Impact. I keep an eye on that every once in a while.
Great show, by the way, on Twitch TV.
Tara Valkyrie.
Yeah.
The heavy wrestling women's champ. She's not with Impact. If it's story or if it is truly, she is not.
I think she's
signed
actually
with
done.
them.
Her contract actually
Yeah.
expired.
She
I
is
mean,
done.
what is she gonna do? Would AEW benefit for having her there?
I think she might go join her husband.
They would, but here's the problem. And this is and as soon as I say this, Jesse's going to have to agree. She is sadly so much farther above the rest of that division.
Oh, well, yeah.
There's nobody that can work with her.
Well, there's only one person that can work with her, and they still haven't gotten her a title shot, as we were just speaking about people, black champions. Why hasn't
Don't
Big
you,
Swole.
Don't you dare give me Big Swole. After Tooth and Nail, Big Swole's got a lot to make up for.
Look,
does,
Tooth
yes,
and
she
Nail
does.
is not her fault. That is a booking thing. She could have said no.
She should have said no.
She
But
probably
she
should have
said
said
yes.
no, but she said yes. I'm not going to blame her for saying yes to her bosses.
That's fair. Here's the
So-
deal. Here's
so
the
you
deal.
think-
I do not think. I have said it on the show, but I will admit here and now. While I did agree with Brian Last and Jim Cornette at one point that I think Big Swole is one of the absolute worst workers, Big Swole has grown on me. Her work is not as bad as I originally thought. I've seen some growth, but here's the deal. She's not ready. Even if they built her right. Hikaru Shida, and I hate to say it, Hikaru Shida is the most limbo champion in wrestling because she is champion because they have no idea what to do.
So Asuka on Raw. Which is the whole point of them bringing Charlotte back?
Here's the difference, though.
I mean, let's be real.
Here's the Here's the biggest
Paper
difference.
towel,
Yeah,
man.
here's the biggest
And
difference.
by the way, and I don't mean to cut you off,
No.
but by the way, since I'm pretty sure Jim Cornette probably listens to you. I've listened to the show recently, and he says a lot of things you say. So there's a chance Jim Cornette is actually a fan of the show.
Yeah.
So Jim, as you like to,
If he's a fan of the show, I'm excited.
I'm glad you guys are
And
on
I'm a
it.
fan of his.
I'm glad you guys are on it. I don't care. You'll never be on the Jay Stowe Wrestling Podcast. So no matter how
Not
long
us.
it is,
No.
yeah, I said Jay Stowe Wrestling Podcast, not this
Yeah.
one.
All right.
So the whole point of Alexa being with the Fiend was one, to rebrand her, one, to refresh her,
Yeah.
and two, to re-heal her.
Yeah.
It is working. What they did on Raw with the whole Asuka thing is brilliant. Instantaneously.
Can I say this about Asuka though for a second before you?
Okay.
I'll let you know, but so you say Asuka's in limbo. The difference is,
She kind of was handed the championship.
yeah, Asuka,
Well, who else were they going to give it to?
quote
Lacey
unquote,
Evans.
maybe.
Yeah, no.
Asuka, quote unquote though, she is just pure entertainment. Whether she is joking around or she's being serious, I believe everything about Asuka.
Oh, yeah.
Asuka's not in limbo because remember, Asuka is still Asuka. This is the weird thing about Asuka is that she's never lost that 500-day feeling to me. I still believe that she can beat anyone on any night, no matter what the story is right now. I still believe in that. Hikaru Shida is a kendo stick. That's all she is, because past that, I can't tell you anything about her. I don't know the moves. I don't know that. The Princess Championship mention was the dumbest thing Excalibur ever did, because it killed her to the audience. So, no.
Yeah.
The Smart Monkey Abyss is every woman in that division, and by the way, Kenny's still booking it.
It's the worst decision ever.
What are we doing?
It's still the worst decision ever because Kenny. First off, he needs to step away from that division. Two, he needs to work on his own character because what the hell is this? This is. I was wrong. Once again, I guess I'm eating the verbal crow here.
He's given the same promo.
This is not the cleaner.
7 times.
I know, like this is not the cleaner. What is Don Callis talking about?
This is the
not
collector. This is the collector. Austin Aries already did that, and he already collected more belts. The collector gimmick. He's not. Okay. Question for you.
Oh,
and you, because you know the picture. For the Japan connection, is he just trying to be a diet version of Ultimo Dragon?
I don't know. It's possible,
Maybe.
but I don't know.
For those of you who always see the picture of Ultimo Dragon and go, why does he have so many belts? I don't think you realize how good Ultimo Dragon was.
Ultimo Dragon was one of the best wrestlers
Ultimo
in the world.
Dragon
He had all those titles.
is somebody that we saw him with Sonny Ono. He can still go at his age.
We saw him up at
Fortune Mania.
Fortune Mania 2, and it was great. And I think when
He was in match with Super Crazy, by the way.
Woo!
And I think when we were
That's a
having
match.
lunch, he was sitting there
Yeah.
without his mask on,
Yeah.
and I was like,
Well, but Ultimo
"Who is that
Dragon.
guy?"
Well, but Ultimo
And he didn't
Dragon
know.
is not necessarily the luchador idea. He's
Yeah.
more the Tiger Mask idea,
Yeah.
where the mask is sacred, but it's not to lucha levels.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Like, I don't know who that
Because
was.
remember, Blue Demon Jr. is
Yeah.
running for mayor of Mexico City, and he said if he wins, he'll remove the mask.
Oh,
That's
choice.
I didn't read that. Oh wow.
Oh yeah. Well,
Wow.
I think he legally has to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has to show his face if he's going to govern people.
Yeah. But the thing about it is that Ultimo Dragon, when he held those belts, if you go back and look at the era in which he held those belts, he was the man
Yeah.
in every single one of those companies.
Mhm.
He
Oh,
was
yeah.
that dude.
Yeah.
Kenny's not that though.
No, he's not.
Collector doesn't make sense because, everyone's making a big deal. Kenny has pinned the Impact World Champion. Then what the hell is Moose doing? So you're just going to take Moose, who's been there, who's worked hard, who's built himself up, who has made a great story of himself, and you're just going to give it to Kenny?
Yeah.
You're just going to say, hey, Rich Swann, you're working with Kenny. But Moose, nope, you're working with Kenny. What?
Which is why the crossovers so far don't work. And they've only had to work when Moxley's involved just because there's already a built-in story with Kenny and Moxley.
Exactly.
Oh,
And
yeah.
that story still works mostly because of John Moxley.
Well, and then, did you see?
John Moxley does a great job when he's not wrestling.
Yeah.
I still love him in the ring though.
I just... When
It's
he's
a
when he's actually
brawler style.
when he's actually in the ring and
You
not
know
just
what?
on the side.
Last Wednesday, I didn't actually realize that was his first match in like damn near 2 months.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, did you? Was it Tama over New Japan? Wasn't it him that said was reaching out to Vince and Triple H saying,
Well,
"Why
we
don't
talked
we do
about
a
that.
partnership?"
We talked about that when you went to deal with the kids earlier. Was that
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah.
was
I missed
that, yeah, no, we already talked about that, but the sense is that that's a partnership that would work because at the end of the day, those two companies are on the same level.
Mhm.
Sadly, you just admitted this like not 20 minutes ago, Impact's the better show.
Impact is the better show.
Impact is not going to get the ratings boost. Actually, this has been great for Impact because Don Callis has been promoting Impact like crazy.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Impact's always going to be hurt by their past experiences, especially with Russo. He leaves stains on things that just can never come out. But the thing is
You
that
want underwear.
It's a poop stain from hell.
Yep. But the thing is that Impact has been brought back to the forefront of wrestling
Oh yeah.
people because of this partnership.
Oh, yeah.
AEW has not benefited. Because
No.
here's the deal. People want to look at me and say, well, look at last week. They did 859,000 and NXT did 654. It doesn't matter. NXT's not competing with you anymore.
No.
You guys are competing against yourselves. And you're not growing the audience. How many times do I have to come up here on this microphone? This is why I said last week to Leroy, and Leroy will say, I was about as depressed as possible talking about this. Here's the deal. You are not growing the audience. It's the same people. And by the way, if Jim Cornette, for some strange reason, and he proved this, by the way, if he decides to stop talking about you, you lose 200,000. 200.
True.
The action. No, Jesse, you laugh, but the proof was in the pudding. 200,000 people stopped watching on the 4 weeks that Jim Cornette did not review AEW. Then he reviewed them again. They went up 200,000, and they've been in that up 200,000 range ever since. If he doesn't talk about them, more people are not gonna watch. The NBA audience thought Chris Jericho was a friggin' balloon animal of his former self. And by the way,
We'll get into him in a second since you brought him up.
and by the way, I didn't think that the NBA Twitter audience was going to be that harsh, but my God, they're harsher than I am.
Yeah. I mean, they're
Oh.
mostly black dudes from Brooklyn, so yeah.
That was a time I want to wait till after Royal Rumble to talk about compare Jericho and
Goldberg? Okay.
I think because I think we'll wait because we'll see how well Goldberg performs, whatever.
Because
Wins
I
or
think,
lose, whatever.
I think you're holding that horrible lion salt over Jericho. And that was horrible. I don't know why he attempted that lion salt last week. It was.
It was so bad.
AEW has botches every week. That was horrendous.
What was worse, Lion Salt or Snoop Dogg?
You know what? The Snoop Dogg one was just fun. It's because he's clearly not a wrestler.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am declaring on this show, we are all NPCs living in a video game built for Snoop Dogg. And
He's already beat the game.
And he's now just doing side quests for fun.
Yeah, I do agree
Snoop
with
Dogg
that.
beat life, and now he's like, what other shit can I do before I... Snoop Dogg, I hate to... No, okay. If
I
you-
love Snoop
No,
Dogg.
no. I'm not saying this because I want Snoop to die. You know, he seems very healthy.
Yeah.
He's good. If Snoop Dogg died tomorrow, what more does the man have to do with life? He doesn't. He beat life. Now he's just waiting for the hand of death to be like, okay, you're done.
No,
Not that he's old, but just the man that Snoop can do no wrong in my opinion.
You know, if death comes for him, he's just gonna look at him and be like, "Yeah, we do a little puffy, and he's gonna be living for another
All right.
30 years.
Jesse, we're moving on to something that we cannot take our eyes off because it doesn't matter who you root for, it doesn't matter what company you love. It is a night that will live in infamy. It is the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
We all love it.
God, I love that.
It's about the numbers. It is everything that we love about wrestling because it is so unique.
I must admit, though, this year's scares me a little bit.
This year, I think, has a lot of potential.
It scares me in the sense that one of the best things about the Royal Rumble really is us as wrestling fans. And here's what I mean by that. Our reactions to who comes out, when they come out, who gets eliminated, how they get
That's fair.
eliminated.
That's fair.
And now that it looks like it is just going to be another Thunderdome thing. Because originally they talked about maybe having a small crowd for
Well,
the
they're trying to get
Rumble.
people to... Well, here's the thing. I understand people are wondering why, hey, you're at the baseball stadium, why don't you try what AEW is doing at Daly's Place? WWE... Because WWE already has the established reputation that AEW is trying to get, it doesn't make sense for them to bring in a small amount. It just doesn't.
No.
They
true.
yeah, no, it's not going to add anything to the show. It's probably actually going to take away from the show. Because their brand at this point is not rec center style crowd. AEW Dynamite's still a rec center style crowd because they haven't reached that level yet.
Yeah.
And that's not me just talking shit for shit. That's just proof.
Well, I think also what they're doing because they're a respectable company is if they're saying, yeah, they're not saying definite. They kind of said definite they're going to have fans for WrestleMania,
Yeah.
but they are doing it safely.
Yeah.
They're doing it correctly. And the biggest emphasis I have is they're doing it safely.
Yes.
Well, because, I mean, it'll be at Raymond James like it was
Yeah.
supposed to be last year.
Yeah.
But they've already said they're only going to fill it to 45% capacity.
Yeah. But
So,
But anyway, back to the Rumble. I think that this actually has the potential to be one of the most impressive Rumbles because
Possibly.
and here's why. Because you have the situation with COVID. Perhaps you're going to have more surprises than you thought.
possibly.
Yeah. Yes.
Instead of 2 or 3 surprises, maybe we're up in the 6 to 7 surprise range. And remember, we have 2 Rumbles for this to be attempt it.
Yeah.
We have the women's rumble.
Well, the women's will have a lot of surprises.
Yeah.
Just because they don't have that many women on the roster to do it.
Yeah.
I'm looking for the women's rumble this year. Last year was good.
I don't think
I think
Becky's
this
back
year's
for
gonna
the
be good.
Rumble.
No,
I'm
she's
declaring that now. If it happens, great, but I don't think this is where Becky comes back.
It's for people who keep wondering when she'll be back. That baby was just born, guys. If anything, SummerSlam is probably the
not.
earliest.
Yeah.
Did you see the nice picture of her holding the baby?
That was beautiful.
Oh,
That was
I
great.
love that.
The other
Oh.
thing about it is,
And Seth should continue to stay home and be a dad because I was sick of looking at his freaking face.
all right, there you go.
Yeah.
But
He'll be back.
But no, it's just I think the men's will have Seth. I think the men's will have some surprises.
God, I hope not.
But
It
the
would
thing
be a perfect time for him to come
Yeah.
back.
I can't stand Seth Rollins anymore. Aren't you guys tired of Seth Rollins?
no,
Is it?
No.
Am I the only person tired of Seth Rollins?
probably.
Yeah.
Am I like in the? I was in the minority of hating Brock when he came back, and now I'm in the minority of like just being tired of looking at Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
My biggest thing is
At least Roman, like when he came back, it felt fresh.
true.
Like
And-
you got to do something with Seth when he comes back.
The
Maybe
problem
this will
is the problem
What
is
go back to Seth effing Rollins?
my biggest problem with the whole Seth situation is I feel like more so, because Roman comes from the Anoa'i family, he gets the business more. I'm not saying Seth doesn't get the business. What I'm saying is I don't think Seth is a guy that you can write for. Seth, I don't know how good Seth is at pulling off someone else's words. Because
Yeah.
remember the whole Tyler Black thing, that was him.
Yeah, that was all him.
That was all Kobe.
Yeah.
So I think
I'm glad to say I have a couple DVDs with him in it. and-
yeah, you do.
I love it.
But no, it's like for me, not just Seth, but the Rumble has the opportunity to have people come back, has the opportunity for people to Edge could have another moment because I think he's healed from the tricep.
I think he has been cleared. It
Yeah.
just isn't
I know
official.
Beth was in town for the Dusty Rhodes Women's
Yeah.
Classic. Great to see her back on commentary live. My biggest thing, though, is I think this year's Women's Royal Rumble is unique because we're going to see a lot of new faces.
Yeah.
Because and I think it's going to be very heavily NXT. Because,
Yeah, oh, yeah. Oh,
because-
yeah.
Yeah. Because you have so many women
Without a doubt.
down there. I think you're going to see Caden Carter and Casey
Yep.
Catanzaro, and they're going to have to think about their friendship because they're in the Rumble. They're going to have to do this. By the way, Casey Catanzaro, that was a botch. It was a beautiful looking botch. But that
Oh yeah. We'll talk about
was
that.
a botch.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that was supposed to be back to back, but we'll talk about that later. No, my biggest thing is I love the Rumble because you get a chance to have unpredictability.
Yeah.
Although and honestly, I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't know who wins this year.
That's a great point.
When Drew was in it, and I saw the writing on the wall that Drew McIntyre was
Once
ready,
he eliminated Brock, I was like, okay, I think
which
this
was
is.
which was early enough for me to say that.
Yeah.
But right now, Drew's not in it. I don't think Randy's gonna win it.
No, I think the Fiend will actually
No.
be back
I don't
to
think,
eliminate
yes,
him.
I don't think that Brock is gonna be a part of it.
No.
I don't know who's winning this Rumble because I also don't know who's in it because of look. This is what Vince has been praying for 5 years. Because of the pandemic, we don't know who's in town. We don't know who can be in town. It's actually a secret who can be in it. There's no way to break it because we don't know.
Yeah.
They might still be trying to fill the slots hours before.
And they're still kind of doing false pushes of like, I mean, they've been pushing the Daniel Bryan thing a lot on SmackDown.
Well, okay. Let's go through this for a second. If Daniel Bryan wins, he gets one more shot in the sun.
Yeah.
If Cesaro wins, I think Cesaro's back to that level where him winning makes sense.
Yeah.
They built Shinsuke up.
Yeah, they're starting to build Shinsuke, which is the oddest thing in 2021. Seriously, after the feud with AJ, I thought it was never happening again. I'm like, okay, well, he'll never get another
I'll
push
say this
again.
though. Naka,
Not that large of a
Yeah,
push.
no. Naka is such a talent that I think eventually it's just you have to do something with
And
it.
a part of that was his own thing. He wanted to kind of be the surfer guy and
Exactly.
take a little breather.
Yeah,
but
no, exactly. But
Well, you want me to run down who they have announced so far?
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
All right.
We did Daniel, we did
Daniel
Cesaro,
Bryan.
we did Shinsuke.
Daniel, Bobby Lashley, AJ, Randy Orton, Otis, Miz, Jey Uso, Cesaro, Jeff Hardy, Sami Zayn. He's going to be unlocked from the buyer for that one. Dolph Ziggler, and Shinsuke. That's who they have so far.
Dolph is always the consummate performer to where I think that Dolph is always a threat to they might give him one more chance.
Well,
in
his
some-
brother's getting a shot in AEW next week.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Well,
Nick
most,
Namath.
I know they haven't announced the New Day,
Yeah.
Xavier and
But the thing is-
they're in there.
Kofi's
probably.
hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, he's hurt. Well,
Yeah.
Xavier might be in there then.
But anyway, you've got Bobby, who is always. But no, it's just this is a Rumble that has a lot of legit. If they win, I'm not gonna be shocked beyond human belief by it.
Yeah.
I'm not because. Look, Bobby's always a threat, even at his age, because Bobby looks like $1 million.
I mean, for
Um,
44, he
oh,
moves
God.
like he's still
Um,
27. Like,
if let's say Jay wins, big match Jay Uso's a legit single guy right now.
yeah.
So
By the way, his brother's healthy. That's so the fact that
Hold
they
on,
didn't
hold on.
bring his brother back and he's still doing the
Hear me
singles
out,
match
though.
is awesome.
But he could come back to Rebel.
yeah,
too.
exactly. But hear me out though. I actually like that Vince is starting to bring back the old idea of we have nothing for you, so you're not going to be on TV. I actually believe in my heart of heart that Alistair was pulled because they want to do bigger. I'm not saying Vince didn't do something with Alistair because of what happened with his wife. I'm not saying that. I'm not going to go that far and defend Vince and say it has nothing with Slim. I'm not going to say that because I don't know. But Alistair, in my opinion, still has enough cachet to where you got him. Let's at least give him something
And
real.
there has been some rumors that the whole reason that he hasn't even been on Main Event in damn near a month now is the fact that they actually plan on doing something with him.
But that's my
They just,
point.
for now, since they don't have anything for him, they're like, just
Yeah,
come on back.
I've seen that rumor too. As they are waiting, they're gonna have a huge just
Yeah.
push for him or whatever when he
Like,
comes back.
apparently there's some
But-
designs for his character.
But going
on,
back to what I
so-
was saying, I am more a fan of
Mm-hmm.
we have nothing for you, sit in catering,
Yeah.
versus we have nothing for you, go out and beat a jobber. I prefer
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Some fans think that that's mean. Some fans think that there's a vendetta. I'm gonna be honest. If you have nothing, don't be on TV.
Yeah.
It is something that Vince stopped doing for a while, and the fans hated on him. And now they're hating on him for doing the same thing, which is I'm not pushing you, but I'm not doing anything with you. But no, stay off TV. I'm fine with that. But here's the thing. There's so much potential with this year's Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
Also, because half the roster has been at home most of the year.
Yeah.
So what you have is an opportunity where for the first time since social media really boomed, the Rumble is its own enigma.
Yeah.
It is.
The Rumble is its own, what the hell are we going to do? The Rumble also, quick question, and I'm going to ask both of you guys this, and don't give me this bullshit of, I'm just going to throw a name out there. Who's the favorite in the female? You have no idea. You have no name. You can't think of anyone because here's the deal.
Problem is, I also don't actually know who's actually declared for the females one.
Oh,
Outside of Charlotte. And she's always a threat to win.
Asuka's in?
Oh, Asuka's actually in?
don't
No.
worry,
Oh.
sir.
No.
I
Okay.
can't do it.
Naya's in, Shayna's in.
No, wait, here, I'll run down here.
Is
Okay.
both
Nia?
the Riot Squad's in.
Naya, of course, Flair is in there.
Yeah.
Bianca,
Yeah.
Bailey, Mandy, Dana, Peyton, Alexa Bliss, Shayna Baszler, Liv Morgan, Ruby Riott, and Tamina. Out of anything, the only one I give a chance at actually doing it is Bianca Belair. But she's got a good running going with Bailey
See, that's
right
the,
now.
see, that's the thing.
So that's the hard
thing.
part.
As much as I think Bianca could go straight to the main event, this Bailey stuff is just so good right now. It's too good to just stick a fork in it and say done.
Well, although, I think Alexa...
She lifted Otis with no issue.
Because she's that damn athletic.
I saw that. I
she's
was
that damn
so
strong.
Oh, I knew that. No.
Holy crap.
No, I knew from the start that Bianca was going to go crazy for this. Also, when I saw the hurdles and Allison was like, she was going against Corey being like, well, that's unfair. I'm like, she is a world-class hurdler at the University of Tennessee?
Yep.
Yeah, University of Tennessee. She was an all-SEC hurdler. Give her real hurdles and we have no
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
Did you see the form she had? That is real hurdler form.
I actually think Alexa might get taken out of that because I think Alexa's taking that championship from Asuka at the Rumble. We will see what happens on Raw. It's like one of the few things I'm actually interested in on Raw this Monday.
I actually, you know, it's funny. We were talking about Raw
Outside of the Hurt business.
Yeah.
We
were talking about Raw the other week. Here is my biggest problem with Dynamite. And I'm not going back just to shut on them because it's interesting to bring that up. Because Leroy, you'll remember I said this. I feel like even though it's not very exciting, Raw is at least being booked where they have a direction.
Yes.
But I feel
some of it.
But no. But look. Even SmackDown has some storylines where we say,
But overall, it's a way
exactly.
better show.
but my point is this: the reason why I can sit through Raw easier than Dynamite is because in my brain, I'm able to look at Raw and see where they're going. Whether I like or hate where they're going, I can see the direction Raw is trying to get to. Ricochet being beaten down as much as he is, it's for Ricochet to fly back up because that's what Ricochet does.
But they cannot keep doing it. They've done this twice.
I agree. No. Again, whether I agree with it or not, I know where they're going.
Okay,
I don't know where Dynamite's going with half the booking. That's my problem with Dynamite. And I said to you last week, I wasn't asking for the failure of Dynamite. I don't want to shit on Dynamite. But with Elevation coming, what's going to happen to Dynamite when you have to split up the roster because you can't just turn Elevation into Dark because it's going to confuse the Dynamite audience? This is.
To be fair, though, are the two audiences actually separate?
Oh, I would say so.
I think so.
I would say so. And the reason why...
There's a mix.
I actually don't talk to a lot of AEW fans. Like, you kind of apparently get tweets from them because I have no interest in hearing from them because these are some of the same guys that thought the Elite should have stayed in New Japan, which I'm like, hell no.
No.
But...
to those people, may I just say this? It's been reported, and it's been basically proven. The only reason why the Elite happened in New Japan was because... The New Japan offices were like, okay, you're a package deal with Kenny. They didn't give a crap about the Young Bucks. They were there because they were with Kenny.
They were actually really only there at first because Tama brought them in. But, so going back to the Rumble, there's going to be a ton of surprises.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I already, as far as like my highest thoughts of who might win.
Yeah.
I think as soon as I heard Charlotte announce, I'm like, she'll win a second time. I'm over ever being angry about anything they do with Charlotte. I know she's kind of addressed this as part of their storyline.
Yeah.
But I'm over it. I get it. It is what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking she'll win it so she could probably challenge Asuka.
Okay.
At first.
Yeah.
But then I saw what happened in the main event.
Yeah.
And then I went, wait a minute.
Yeah. All right.
I don't think Charlotte has to win the Royal Rumble.
No.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, because even if she did win, and say if it was Alexa.
Yeah.
Well, if Alexa just squishes her at Mania, that makes the Raw Championship look as strong as it did when Becky got it.
Exactly.
You see what I mean?
All right, so now I got a question for you because moving on to a topic here. Did you watch the Fight Pit? Have you seen the Fight Pit?
I did not get the chance to finish the Fight Pit, so we could talk about it, but I didn't get the chance to finish it.
I think it should have gone a little longer, but I'll be honest with you, I wasn't angry at it. It was hard hitting. It was well documented. It was well done. These guys got the pacing of things.
I do want to say this.
Yeah.
Big ups to Timothy Thatcher, who was dealing with a legit, not just the one that they wrote in, but he was actually dealing with a legitimate injury.
Yeah.
And did that match.
Yeah.
Big.
Very.
That's why we've all been high on him since his days in progress, people.
Great, amazing. In my opinion, story they told in a short period of time. I think it would have gone longer if it was New Year's Evil.
Probably.
But they kind of fitted it into the main event of another NXT. I did like the post-match where now they're in the Dusty Classic. They won on 205 Live. You were high on these guys outside. MSK, the Radicals.
Yes.
The Rascals, which, by the way, I don't know if people caught this, but in their debut match, right before commercial break, Vic Joseph did say, these crazy rascals are going crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right.
Good job.
All right.
Good job.
That was good. So your thoughts of them as MSK? Because it's only been one match.
Yeah.
But I think they got to show off and be who they are, and I think they're letting them be themselves.
Here's two things that because yes, I'm not the biggest fan of the rebranding name, but I think sometimes Paul does that to protect himself because that's a name that they own. They probably want to keep that name in case things don't work out. I think they're only on a 3-year deal.
Yeah.
So like, if things don't work out, they can always go back to being the Rascals. But apparently there is a lot of love for them. They've worked really hard in the Performance Center.
I think,
and they're a team that apparently even Shawn Michaels is incredibly high on.
I think the way that I've watched them, and okay, yes, they've brought in a bunch of people.
Damn shame WWE couldn't offer the world to Top Flight to bring them in.
Right?
There's still a chance.
Yes. Anyway, here's my thing. Yes, I know they've brought a bunch of people in and they've given them video packages and nothing has come of it, but MSK just feels different.
Yeah.
They're like, I mean, the commentators are being told to talk about this team like they're gonna be something.
Yeah.
I am excited to see. I don't like the matchup of them versus the Beast of Belfast.
Yes.
And Drake Maverick.
Thank you.
Just yet,
Drake and Killian Dane.
Yeah,
that's
Killian
the
Dane.
next match.
I don't like them already facing each other. Maybe in the semifinals, maybe in the third, fourth. I mean, maybe in the finals. But second round, I feel like there's two stories there I want to see that are already going to end, and it was a bad seeding in my opinion. But fine, whatever. I mean, I'm going to enjoy it one way or another.
Yeah.
But it's just. Anyway,
Do you want the
what's the updated Dusty Rhodes Classic then?
update? Okay, all right. Well, as you were saying, Ciampa and Thatcher won their match, so they're
On 205 Live, and they all want it thrown out because Thatcher's not 205, and I'm looking at myself like, you
Who
weren't
cares?
beating them if it was on Main Event, Raw, SmackDown, anything. You could have been in Space with No Gravity. You weren't beating Timothy Thatcher and
All right.
Tommaso
Yeah.
Ciampa.
So the next round,
Yeah.
it's going to be Ciampa and Thatcher against the Undisputed Era.
Okay.
Interesting that's round 2, but I realized that the injury probably prevented them from doing what they were going to do.
Yeah.
I still say the Undisputed Era is going to run the table only because it's a great way to give them a title shot against Lorcan and
Yeah.
Birch without just handing it to them.
Yeah.
But I do think the Undisputed Era is going to have the toughest path to get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. The next is going to be the Grizzled Young Veterans against Kushida and Leon Ruff. And what you predicted, Wade losing, that was a very good insight on that one, Zach.
Oh yeah, I thought that was going to happen too.
Yeah.
Because I figured that the women would win.
Well, no. Leroy is talking about how I predicted the Wade was going to lose.
Oh.
And
Yes.
I pretty much called it word for word what
yes,
happened.
you did. Yes.
I did, yeah.
Then
Interesting.
MSK, as we said, MSK against Drake Maverick, Killian Dane. And then it's
Which, by the way, can we just acknowledge how amazing that storyline has been?
Dude, I love Killian Dane and Drake Maverick.
It's been so much better than I thought it was
Well,
going to
because
be.
at first I was so uncertain, but it grew on me so quickly.
And by the way, we talk a lot on the show about body language. Killian seems to be enjoying going along with it.
Yeah.
He seems to be okay with it. It's not like they're pigeonholing him. Killian seems to be having fun with it.
Yeah.
The last matchup
Yep.
is Lucha House Party and
Shocking first round win for me, by
Del
the way.
Fantos. That was a great match.
Here's your big upset for next week. They're gonna beat Fantasma del.
Legado del Fantasma.
Thank you.
Legado del
I can
Fantasma.
never
Yeah.
pronounce it.
No.
I actually think so. Here's
Lucha House Party to the semis?
Here's
Yeah.
what's stupid. Here's what's stupid to me when I think of Lucha House Party. Good for them, but stupid in general for WWE. Paul decides, oh, you're going to let me use them. Perfect. Because he loves them. as
Oh,
a
yeah,
team.
no. They're great together.
They even split them up from Kalisto because it just wasn't working anymore.
No.
And giving those other two guys who are excellent lucha libre wrestlers.
Grand
a
Metro
chance to
League might be one of the best luchadors in the world.
You
Hands
wouldn't know
down.
it because.
Hands down, period.
And then all of a sudden, stupidly, on Raw, they're taking seriously again. They've beaten the Hurt Business twice.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, they've beaten legitimate tag teams on Raw,
They have.
and I'm like, wait a minute. So I'm watching last week when they did it again. I'm like, wait a minute here. I'm like, so now Vince and Triple H at the same time believe in this. I'm like, what's going on here? I'm happy for them because they deserve it.
Oh, yeah.
But I'm like, that never happens. Usually Vince is like, I don't got anything
Can we just
for
be honest
it.
about one thing, though?
What's that?
A lot of people are starting to be taken seriously again, and I'm serious. They've built Daniel Bryan back up.
Yeah.
Cesaro seems legit again. Nakamura in one night was made back to the artist. Well, wasn't the
Yes.
artist. He was the king after
Yeah.
one night. I think we're getting to a point where, and it sounds really old
By the way,
school.
mostly SmackDown outside of the Lucha House Party.
Yeah. Here's the deal. I just feel like a lot of people are, and it sounds a little old school, I think they're done paying dues. A lot of people are actually being taken seriously again. Because I'll be honest with you right now, one of the best things going, and I don't think anyone's talking about it, is the Alpha Academy.
Oh, it's
Don't
awesome.
don't tell me
It's awesome.
for the small pigeonholed section of SmackDown that those two are not brilliant.
Yeah. Hell, I mean, it even intertwines a lot with Daniel Bryan's story. Like, I actually think it's excellent.
I have been enjoying. Chad's,
I don't know who writes SmackDown.
Oh,
Maybe it's Paul Heyman,
Oh.
and maybe it's because it feels like it's got Paul Heyman's hands written all over it.
it does. It does. Especially the Roman stuff.
This is not a knock, and I've said it on my show. This is not a knock against the rest of the rest of the wrestling business.
Yeah.
SmackDown is outside of New Japan.
Yeah.
SmackDown is the best wrestling show I watch every single week.
It is the only American TV show right now that has the clearest direction.
Like but by the way, it shows in the ratings. I think they got close to 3 million again.
Okay, so Jesse, I'm gonna throw this at you to kind of close up the show here. Leroy and I talked about this last week.
Mm-hmm.
I said, and this goes back to me saying that Dynamite doesn't have a clear path. SmackDown is the most consistent show
Yes.
in the sense that if you throw any consistent person that is on SmackDown at me, I can tell you specifically where they're going, what they've been doing.
Yeah.
They're all brilliant. Sammy, know where he's going.
Yep.
Apollo, know where he's going.
Yeah.
I know where everyone on SmackDown is going. Raw, a little bit. Dynamite, I'm 50-50 on too many people. Impact, Lord knows. Anyway, but no, that's my point. And Leroy, you and I actually had a really good conversation about this. As I said, SmackDown is consistent
Yeah.
with
Oh, yeah.
everything. And
That's the reason they're about to hit 3 million
Yeah.
viewers now every week. It's
also
Roman Reigns coming back as a heel. It's one of the best things he's ever done.
You know what's
Apparently he's
sad?
wanted to do it for a couple years.
the only
but-
sad part about this is that Vince, you were hiding that from us for 3-4 years. This guy was capable of all that, and yet I didn't get this for 3. You were so hell bent on him being the face of the company that I didn't get this. This was brilliant. Oh, now
Because
she doesn't want to talk.
because all you used to
Yeah,
hear
no, she don't want to.
because all you used to hear about was how great he was, and you're like, I don't see it.
And now I see it.
And now when he's been back, I'm like, oh God, he's amazing. Why didn't this happen when he had to face the Undertaker? Like, it would have been the perfect time for it.
Yeah.
Like I listen. Every Friday, I tell people, every Friday night, I am so excited to watch that 2 hours.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'm like, I'm gonna get a hell of a show. And the best part is they piss me off because then I have to wait till Saturday morning to watch Paul Heyman do excellent interviews to build these wrestlers even more.
Has Talking Smack not been one of the best
Oh
post-show
my
things?
goodness!
With Paul on it, yeah.
Oh, the stuff with
Great.
Apollo,
Oh.
Big E the week before. I mean, he's done some stuff recently with Sammy. It's so
With Kevin.
With
Kevin.
Kevin.
Kevin show was good.
So
Yes.
damn
I love
great
it. I just
every week.
I have loved. Okay, call me crazy. When he's not the guy in charge of the business side, is there anyone that is gonna hook you more on wrestling than Paul Heyman? I'm serious.
Because if he's
I don't
writing
think so.
SmackDown, I'm happy Vince says yes to everything he allows each week. Because I'm telling you, 90% of that show, it's like the 2 hours fly by because it's so damn good.
Despite what Ryback keeps saying,
You know what,
you
man.
ain't gonna destroy Paul Heyman on a live mic. That's not a thing.
Yeah, you're not even gonna come close to that.
Look. There's one thing that I'll agree with Ryback on, and I barely even agree with him.
Oh, you actually agree with him?
No. Hear me out.
Barely agree.
While
There's a difference.
while I agree that Paul has spent a large portion of his career being the second fiddle to a lot of big names, I've always agreed though. But Paul is the guy that you want writing your TV,
Yes.
not selling your merchandise.
True.
If Vince and Stephanie and Paul Levesque, Triple H, if they're controlling the business, the writing from Paul will always be great.
Yes.
Because here's the deal. As bad as they were from a business perspective, those old ECW shows, God, they were some of the most consistently written shit I've ever seen on a wrestling show. Paul can book wrestling.
Yes.
Don't ever misquote me on that.
Oh, yeah.
Paul can book wrestling. He's not the best guy.
Which
when
is
it comes-
probably why Peter Avalon should be booking in AEW, because his booking on the Indies is actually excellent. But I digress. Yeah, it's
actually, he was actually mentioned in the lounge the other day, and Thomas Bug even said Peter's one of the best guys in the Southwest area.
Yeah, no. So I'm not sure if anyone's actually ever gotten a chance. What is the name of that promotion in Phoenix? We'll have to find it because I forget.
High Impact Wrestling
I think-
or Cactus League Wrestling.
It might be Cactus League that
Okay.
Peter helps the book. Seriously, it's one of the best book shows for like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
You can watch in a local promotion. And I'm like, Peter Avalon has been booking this thing. It's incredibly good.
Yeah, so
it's incredibly good.
So here's the deal. Another reason why I don't think Paul is in AEW is because I think Tony Khan was an idiot not to call Paul Heyman and say, "What's Vince offering you? I'll triple it."
I'm about to say, don't get me started on that.
I'll triple it. But I
It'd
think,
be a better show then.
but I think that.
They would have hit 1 million weeks ago.
Oh yeah, but I think Paul knows that at this point in his life, you book for the major leagues, you don't book for the minor leagues. You manage the Yankees, you don't manage the Rochester Red Wings. It's that simple.
Should we delve into and not forget the women's for NXT? We got to do that.
Ladies and gentlemen,
We
the
gotta
Women's
give props
Dusty
to the
Classic,
ladies.
I was dead wrong at the prediction of Casey Catanzaro and Caden Carter versus Mercedes Martinez and Tony Storm. Yes, in a real scenario, there's no reason why Tony Storm and Mercedes Martinez are losing to Caden Carter and Casey Catanzaro.
How did you not see Io Shirai getting involved in the match?
I'm gonna be
That's
honest.
very interesting.
No. Let me explain myself for 2
Okay,
seconds.
yeah.
I gotta hear this.
Like 2 seconds, all right.
You can't deny that Io has been known to be a little more picky about her spots. I've never known an Io to immediately respond. Io usually has a plan.
Yeah.
So to see her be so primally attacking Mercedes, I'll be honest, while I'm not surprised by it because of what they wrote, I expected that to be in a couple of weeks. I expected Io to go back to the water, to the pool, and to like meditate and think.
Well, here's why I knew it was going to happen right away.
Okay.
Because of the way Mercedes embarrassed her.
That's
when
true.
She attacked.
Okay,
Like,
yeah.
the physical domination Mercedes put on her was insane.
By the way, before we move on in that, I want to say more from the best women's division in all of this sport, NXT. Despite what even Jim said, because he thinks it's a little too Hollywood, I think Boa and Xia Li are one of the best middle card things they got going.
I
It's
was
so much fun to watch.
I was so concerned
Yes.
when they started it because it started hokey as hell.
Is it Bull?
Huh?
I'm asking you because remember she.
Oh, is it Bull Nakano?
Yeah.
I actually have been saying on my show that I think it's Bull Nakano.
Now I heard she was going to work with NXT UK.
Yeah.
But she would fit this perfectly.
Yep. Yeah.
Well, because
yeah.
so when they kind of show part of the facial features, I'm like, damn, that kind of looks like her, dude.
Yeah.
Like it kind of looks like her because she's slimmed up quite a bit now.
And this is out of respect for Bull for me. She don't need lackeys. Bull has never needed
No,
a lackey in her entire career.
Bro, we could give you guys like links to footage
Oh,
of her
God.
just hurting.
Anyway,
other
all right,
Japanese wrestlers.
Leroy, we'll stop our tangent.
All right, no, hey, that's all right.
Yeah.
In the match here, the ladies' half of the way were successful.
They beat GG.
Yeah.
GG and they did, so they are going to be on there. And then
Before you
Casey
finish,
Canswell-
the other wrestler that was there with Priscilla Kelly was a wrestler AEW just had on Dynamite for 5 straight weeks.
Oh, that's right.
/ Dark.
right.
That's
right,
the
yeah.
other girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I forgot about that. God dang, they dropped the ball on all the good females. It's so horrible to watch.
All right.
Continue.
And then, them were the two that won. There's a smaller pool for the ladies, of course.
Yeah.
Next week, it's going to be Ember Moon, Shotzi Blackheart, and Marina and Zoe Stark. And then it's going to be Aaliyah and Jessie Kamira against Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez.
Okay, well, obviously.
That's
we
the
know
next
what's
match.
Can I just point something out? They have been booking the way perfectly.
Well, yeah.
Because here's the deal. Why? Because someone said, well, why would you let the women win but not the men? Because losing is what makes Johnny a good heel.
Yes.
Losing makes Johnny look like a pissed off heel, and it also makes Austin look like the small child character he's playing. But Candice is so confident as the Poison Pixie that it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
Why the women of the way would have success, because then Candice can be the supportive wife and not her come off as the spoiled little brat,
Yeah.
but have Johnny come off as the spoiled little brat. So
Are the ladies half of the way? Are they going to win the next one?
you know,
Who's their next match?
Well, they're
What's the next round?
they're going to get possibly Ember Moon.
That's tough.
Shotzi
Ember and Shotzi are just two
They're-
people whose names alone I think you propel to at least the finals. Whether they win or not,
Yeah, about to say.
whether they win or not, I'm not here to say, but their name alone propels them to the
Yeah.
finals.
Well, we'll have 2 more weeks because they'll have 2 more ladies match this week,
Yeah.
and then they'll come down to the semifinals to put over whoever's going to be in the finals.
Also, for those of you on the internet who are saying, "Oh God, why does WWE have to have a women's everything for this?" This is the perfect place because there was nobody bigger on female wrestling becoming bigger than Dusty.
Yeah.
This honestly, I'm surprised wasn't from the get-go.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Now,
This actually took some time.
the women's Money in the Bank, the women's Royal Rumble, okay, all of that is we're now boasting women equality. Great, fine, whatever. That was the way the world was.
And
But
the Mae Young Classic.
yeah, exactly.
You gotta remember that.
But to have a Dusty
still go back and
Rhodes
watch those,
Classic,
yeah.
to have a Dusty Rhodes Classic, I'm surprised that wasn't the get-go because remember, Dusty was so high on the Paige era, on the Charlottes, on the Beck. Those women, Dusty looked at them and said, "God damn, if I'd only had them when I was booking back then."
He's looking at like, goddamn.
Ladies and gentlemen, we would once again like to thank Haitian Temptation Hot Sauce. It was an absolute pleasure having him on here. We had a little technical difficulty in the middle. Leroy's going to make sure we splice that as best we can to be put up
Yeah,
there.
we'll probably have a little burp right in the middle there. But
Yeah, it's all right. But
We'll make it
Jesse,
work.
we're going to get you more consistently now. From
Yes,
here.
my Sunday, the day that we do this, I'm actually a lot more freer. You can find me on many platforms. Twitch TV, twitch.tv/theblackness89, Blogspot Radio, Jay's Take, or just find me on Facebook at Jay's Take Community, man. Come join.
we definitely we gotta
and you'll be
add
here?
that to you gotta add that. You're the member.
Yeah.
You're on our podcast.
Yeah, I gotta add
Yeah.
that link to
Yeah,
put the link in there
Yeah,
so we can.
yeah.
But
check that out, yeah.
hey, we're also going to have you more consistently on 13 cards every week.
Yes, you guys are now.
Can't wait. Can we book you for next week already? Can we?
You know what? Guarantee I will be
Okay,
here.
I like to hear that.
Right.
But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, Haitian Temptation, go ahead, look it up. We're going to look for a description. He is now going to be a consistent thing that we'll sponsor here on the show. We can't wait to work with that.
Great stuff.
This is absolutely fantastic. We loved it from the second.
Even my kids like it.
We have a video that Leroy has. He's going to splice that up for our YouTube channel. We're trying out the whole live thing today. It was a lot of fun. Jesse's going to be eating some crow here down the line. We're going to make sure. I'm thinking.
We're gonna find some. We're in town
No,
now.
no, no,
Get
no,
some hotter
no, no,
sauce.
no. I've already figured it out.
Oh,
I'm gonna call my I'm gonna call my friends over at Buffalo Wild Wings and have them send over some Carolina Reaper wings. We're really gonna hurt you for a 2-hour show there.
All right, I'll take it. I'll take
But
it.
anyway, Jesse, once again, thank you. It's always a pleasure to have you on the show.
Happy to be here, guys.
For Leroy and myself, once again, I'm going to close by saying this. The reason why we bring on someone like Al is because we're willing to talk about anything that involves wrestling, to combine it. We love to have people on. It's a fan-based podcast. If you didn't like that, I don't really care, and I know that I'm supposed to care what the fans want, but the thing is, it's not an every week thing, but once in a while, it's a lot of fun to bring people on that maybe aren't
Basically,
necessarily part of it.
don't just jump down their throats, guys. Having someone who is, like I said, guys, look him up. He's a really good professional boxer. You might not have heard him in your region, but look his stuff up on YouTube. He's very, very good. And getting that kind of insight actually helps you as well.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you know what? We at the show we love to pimp, but we also love free shit. We got free bottles of hot sauce. I ain't gonna bitch about that. All right.
Yeah, pimp ourselves out too. Remember,
Yeah.
Podomatic. We're on there.
We're still on Spotify.
We're still on Spotify.
Leroy is now up to 13 episodes on YouTube.
I found a better program to splice and drop some up so I can get them up faster. I was looking for a while because the one I was using was annoying me. So I'm going to get more up on YouTube.
But
follow us on YouTube.
But our first 13 episodes are now on YouTube, which I think is a big number for us here at the show.
Oh yeah.
And we are also now, you can go look us up at, again, discoverprowrestling.com. Everyone should go over and create themselves a page there. A lot of cool stuff coming from Eric and the crew over there. But you can find us directly through them now. Super excited that we're on there as well. And I believe we still have an iTunes account with the shows that are on Podomatic.
iTunes, Spotify, and all that. Oh yeah, we're still in there, and then we'll make our more content on our YouTube page. Hopefully. Check it out.
Fantastic.
Especially this one's going to be on, and hopefully soon we're going to live stream through either YouTube or through Facebook and stuff like that.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we all of us here, thank you very much, and y'all have a good day. All right, you can cut the feed to that.